Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another hobby hangout. How is everybody? What a beautiful night it is. The sun is blazing here. I've even had to open the window because it was starting to get a bit warm with all the lights on in here. So yeah, how is everybody? What have you been up to? There's me just knocking my models over before I even start. Let's see who's in the chat. We had some early birds in today. Simon Sheldrick was in nice and early, 5:30 tea time today, saying he's beyond tonight. He's got a panel fusel yet to finish. Well, if you're around, Simon, thank you very much for coming in, mate. Mark says he might have to work tonight, but we'll try and pop in when no one's looking. Yeah, take it easy, mate. Peter Nicholas is saying someone's always looking. Tony says an early evening from little old me, just getting ready to migrate to the Batcave. Beauty was in earlier as well, saying just in case there's an early start, I thought I'd best jump in now. I think we only started like 5 or 10 minutes earlier last time. I was just kind of like sitting there waiting last time, I think. Arnold was in as well, nice and early. Scott saying, evening gents, what's on your painting tables tonight? You know, on my painting table tonight, I've got Jing from the Operation Kaldstrom starter set. And I'm going to be doing something a little bit different with them, I think, tonight. I'm going to, well, we'll come on what I'm going to do with them anyway. Peter Koeman saying he's painting his Star Saga and Dead Zone's Maze and Labs tonight. Peter Wright says, good evening, everyone. He's painting his Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger. Nice bit of Stormcast there. Arnold saying, nothing, my muscles nor my chaotic mind would let me today. Just chill, mate. That's all you need to do then. David saying, David Moffat, good evening, mate. Once again, I'm off to work. I'll be catching the rerun later. I'll see you in the rerun, mate. Or to you, it'll be the first time of watching. So, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Scott said he looks like he's painting his Veerman. It's the only thing he's got primed. Arnold saying he's trying to see something of the making, history, NASA, and the SpaceX launch. It's a live feed on their YouTube channel. Yes, tonight later on, isn't it? David Mackey saying, evening all. Is it Mackey or McKay? I apologise, mate, if I get it the wrong way around. Christian's in. Good evening, Christian. Busey saying he's undecided on a colour scheme for his Veerman. My stuff looked cool in red. Thank you, mate. And Devon Turner, good evening to you, mate. Kieran saying, evening, jackets and jackets. Another Wednesday session. Hope everyone's fabulous. And tonight, Matthew, I'll be painting some zombies just because I can, accompanied by cider. Well, tonight I'm accompanied by water. So, yeah, you know, what are you going to do, eh? John Estel's in as well, saying he's still only a Sharknado unit. Robert Marshall, nice and early, got a head start on some guardsmen. Nice one, mate. Luke Pryor's in as well. Good evening, Luke. Asking how everyone is. John says, I wonder if I ever met Andy in real life, I'd have a Pavlovian response to get my brush put out. I'll just have to look at it and go, it's Wednesday, mate. It's Wednesday. Get them brushes out. Marco says, hi guys, might need to drop off and since I'm keeping an eye on the SpaceX launch. Tony having a chat there as well with a few. Marco saying, why is the quality of the video better than usual? Not sure whether it's some setting changes from my end or Andy's. It's setting changes from my end, mate. There's a few things I've changed. So I have rearranged all of the lights. So the lights are in a different place. They're not right above me, so you're not getting the shiny head as normal. I have also upped the output from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second to make sure. I did it on Monday night just to check it. But probably the biggest difference is I now have an extra camera. And so the camera I did have, whilst it is fantastic quality, it doesn't have what's called a clean HDMI output, which means that when I have a HDMI cable coming out and coming into my computer, anything that shows up on the screen, like all of the little focus boxes and tells me what my ISO settings and all that kind of thing, that comes through to the camera, to the video too. And the only way you can take that off is by putting the camera, or the lens rather, into manual focus, and then that cuts all of that off. So what I do, and what I've been doing for the last year, is I sit facing the camera, my wife flicks the switch on the side of the lens to put it into manual focus, which locks the focus into me, and that's how I do it. You guys never really notice, but as I move backwards and forwards, what you will potentially notice, or what you may see as a lacking quality, is you'll see that basically I'm very slightly out of focus sometimes. So with all of the kind of like, now this is full time and now I've got to make a kind of like make the next leap, and I wanted an extra camera for more camera angles when I'm doing other stuff. I thought invest in another camera. So the camera came today. The wrong lens came with it, so the lens is going back tomorrow. So I'm using my old lens, but with the new camera, which has a clean HDMI output. So if I lean back and if I lean forward, everything stays in focus now. So that's maybe why. So a couple of things, lights are better, and yeah, different camera mates. So that's probably why. And the 60 frames per second. So it's all coming at once. David says, howdy everyone, want to paint, but it's too humid to prime my models. What's everyone else painting? Yeah, I think there's a few people talking about what they're painting at the minute. Busy saying, why do I always get that State of Survival ad right at the start? I always get the one for, what's it called? Is it Amiga gaming chairs or something like that? I always have to skip those ones. Because you can't watch your own videos. If you watch your own adverts, you get into a lot of trouble. What's going on here? Starty's Man gives his house things, mate. I'm very good, thanks for asking, mate. David's tidying up his painting area. It was ditched. James saying, greetings all. I'll be building an Arachnorak spider. It's too hot for painting. It's really warm in here. I thought it was just the lights, but I think it's just the heat of the sun coming through my blind. I've normally got like a blackout blind and then curtains pulled, but I've left the curtains open. I've pulled the blackout blind down, so there's about like 2 inches at the bottom, and I've opened the window to try and get some airflow in here. Where are we at? Mike G. Oh, have I missed some? Peter Nicholas, he says, hello all. Mike G says he's working on his first scenic space. Good luck, mate. Sean Blake's in. Cheers to that H2O. Yes, mate. I know. Normally I have a beer and stuff, but yeah, it's too hot, so I'm just having water. Luke's doing his Burrows and Badgers Castle. David says close but neither. It's pronounced Mackay, like the Scottish Mackay. Okay, mate. Yeah, I'll remember that now. David Mackay, like the Is Mackay's a whiskey as well? Maybe that's where I remember it from. John France, good evening. Stephen Pegg, good evening to you as well. So looking forward to fun and banter. Well, hopefully we can give you that in spades, mate. Where are we at? Peter Nicholas saying he's about to start painting his Forge Guard, which he's assembled today. Matthew Wilkinson's in. Marcus says, quality of the video is great. You look a bit fast. Not sure how to explain it. Yeah, I think it's the 60 frames per second just makes, there's more, obviously there's twice as many frames for every second you're watching. And I think what we get used to watching on TV and stuff is normally about 23 to 25 frames per second. So, but this is kind of like, it just makes things really, really smooth, that's all. But I'm kind of playing with it. It was a bit of a test on Monday to make sure that my PC and my internet and everything could handle kind of 60 frames per second. I think I might back it back off to about 30 at some point because I don't really think it adds to it that much, to be fair. Where are we at? Phil saying, hi everyone, hope you're well. Nice to see you, Phil. Hope you're well, mate. Peter says, great picture, Andy. It's almost like sitting opposite you. Just reach out. Yeah, I can do that. I can actually move things forward now, and you'll see it focus. That's the difference. I could never do that before. So anyway, Peter Cooman saying, evening back from his pre-stream smoke. GD Cliff's in. Cliff, I just got the notification tonight to see your mug is on its way. It was shipped today. Matthew Wilkinson's painting some Spartans for War Gods of Olympus. Needs a break from his Veerman. G Daddy's back to the clinic on Monday. He's been working from home for a few months. Aggression's in. He says he's got a 10-year-old's birthday taking place. Might not get much hobby done. I can imagine, mate. Yeah. Phil's been on painting the Hellblasters. James is saying 60 frame rate looks good. Thank you, mate. One Pip Wonder, nice to see you. Says new to your channel, really enjoying your vids. Thank you very much, One Pip Wonder. I think you commented on one of my videos the other day. I remember replying to you. Jamie Newton's in as well. Evening all, more Carnival on the painting table tonight. One Pip saying, I missed what you were saying about your camera. What brand did you go with? So I'm not like into kind of like spending absolute fortunes on stuff. I know people spend thousands on cameras and stuff. The camera I was using is a Canon M200D, which at the time was kind of their smallest, lightest DSLR, but was very good. It's got a mic input, like a sound input, HDMI out, all the stuff that I would use it for. And so all I did was I upgraded to the upgraded version. So I've got a Canon 250D now. So what it means is, and I've got another piece of kit which is basically an HDMI switcher coming as well. It's on pre-order at the moment. They don't come into stock until in June. So eventually what I'll be able to do is I'll have 3 really good quality cameras. I've got the one above that I use for the paint and stream, which is a Panasonic camcorder. I've had this for absolute years. I've got the Canon 200D sitting in the corner over there, and then I've got the Canon 250D on here as well. So what it means, I have 3 really good quality cameras. I can have one from above, like with gameplay. I can have a face camera. I can do one that's kind of either can move around, like just on a tripod or something, or I can have it as fixed to the table from a different angle. It'll be great for unboxing stuff, for review stuff. It'll be good stuff. Phil says, looking sharp, thank you. Scott says, look, happy bunny, his delivery from Mantic arrived, containing his neoprene mat for Dreadball and everything else that he's ordered as well. Busey saying the 60 frames explains why I'm buffering more now with my dodgy internet. On Monday, I knocked the quality down to 480p. In theory, mate, would it make any difference to you? Potentially, yeah, potentially it might, mate. But yeah, let me know, folks. Let me know what you think. If it's causing problems, I'll back it back off to 30 FPS for next Monday's stream and stuff. But if everybody's managing to kind of to watch it okay, I mean, normally if you're watching any of my videos, they're normally always kind of like at least something similar anyway. We've got Tony Peoples Lighting's in. Good evening, Tony. 1.1 says, looks great, your lighting's really well done, thank you. I used to have these light boxes, used to be mounted to the ceiling, so if you see my live streaming video, my studio tour video, you'll see that they were above it, and they were great for painting streams, but they basically cast a bit of a shadow, so the light came really like down onto my face and then cast shadows kind of under my nose, under my eyebrows and stuff. And now I've got them in the corners of the room. I've got a centre light there as well. I've got a little light here that is a bit more for my painting tonight. There's a light behind me over there as well. It just kind of, it gives a little bit of colour. I'm still playing around. I'm not an expert at this, so yeah, we'll get there over time. Honestly, moving forward, also in picture quality, loving it. Thank you, mate. Thank you. And Victor says on Twitch, hello, Victor, by the way. On Twitch, you can change the frame rate on the playback to 30, even if the streamer uses 60. Shame you can't do that on YouTube. Yeah, let's just use this as a bit of a test, really. I mean, tonight's the big test. Monday, obviously, I tried the upping the frame rate a little bit, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so tonight, let's get into painting. That's what we're kind of hanging out for. Tonight, we've got the Jing models on here. So I'm going with this one, but I had a bit of a test earlier on before we started. And I started just painting this one, but I've only really used contrast paints on it. So I'm going to try just using contrast. I'll show you the bits I haven't used contrast on. I'm sure you'll be able to tell them as we go. But I'm going to try just using contrast paints on these, and just to show really that you don't always have to kind of sort of absolutely smash everything out of the park. So essentially what I think I'm going to start with is we'll start I think we'll start with the gun. So the weapons, anything that should be black, like kind of sort of metallic-y, bits of metallic on the backs of the legs and things. We're going to be using the Basilica and Grey. I think it's always the black one. Sometimes the Black Templar's a little bit dark. Sometimes the Basilica and Grey is a nice balance, I feel. Peter saying no problems here, but I'm on a gaming laptop, so hardware overkill to watch streams. Yeah, I upgraded my laptop as well. When I found out I was being made redundant, I decided to invest some of that money into a new laptop so that I can do my editing and stuff. Like, because this PC's fine for streaming and stuff, but when it comes to editing, it kind of grinds to a halt. So I kind of invested in something that had a little bit more kick for doing editing and graphic work and stuff like that. So yeah, so we'll crack on anyway. So I've just got a bit of a reference picture here so I can kind of work out what everything is. And I'll try and make sure I can get everything into the stream. And we'll just crack on from there. So how's everybody doing? What you been up to? Has anybody got any new news? Anybody been buying new games? Everybody excited for 9th edition, or is it kind of one of those things that's going to pass you by? I know Marco, I just saw in the Discord chat there tonight, you've been looking to invest in a new game as well. Is there anything that you kind of got your eye on at the minute? Has anybody been giving you any advice of what you'd like to maybe purchase? At the minute, my everything I've been saving up basically from Patreon money and stuff, it's just been kind of like mounting up until I kind of needed some things for the channel, really. So that's where That's where I've been spending my my Patreon money basically on stuff for the channel. So now that now I've gone full time, and I'm still getting my salary, basically my wage until June, which is when my last wage stops. What I thought is that actually at the minute I don't need it as a pay packet, if you like. I will do from July onwards, but yeah, at the minute I don't. And then because I've already earned quite a few months now of this financial year, I'll be paying tax this year, and I'll be entitled to get a tax rebate for anything that I've overpaid. So what I thought was this is the time to invest in the equipment that I need really for the channel. Right, so we've painted that in. Now I think what we'll do is there's a little bit of kind of metallic stuff on the backs of the legs here. Yeah, got too many screens open. That's the problem. I forget which one's actually me live. So we'll get that. We'll put that in on the back of the calves, and we'll see how it looks, folks. Because what I did was I bought some new contrast paints specifically for doing these Infinity models, and they hadn't arrived when I was doing my panel stuff last week. So basically I had to just kind of do it the classic way really, but the intention was to get these done quick, so that I can get them on the channel to get them reviewed. I didn't want to just do like an unboxing of them, like a lot of other channels have already really done, and just kind of show what you get inside and review them that way. I thought I'll actually kind of build them and paint them and that, and then it just gives something a little bit different to everybody else's kind of reviews and unboxings, because unfortunately it took a little while for Corvus Belly to send these out. So the problem is that my reviews well behind everybody else's kind of thing. So rather than rush it, I thought I might as well just do a proper job of it and do it. So what it means is now I've got my extra camera and stuff now, and we'll try and do it the best I can. Really kind of go to town and try and up the quality of that kind of stuff. So, do you know what it is? For some reason, the chat. Oh, it's because it's flicked back across again. Every now and again, it flicks across to top chat instead of live chat. I was thinking all my chat. If I've missed anybody's comments earlier on, by the way, I apologise, because it wasn't showing me everybody's comments, I think. Where were we up to? Matthew said he's bought Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress. Nice, mate. Have you played it before, or is this the first time that you've played it? Are you just diving in to see what you think of it? I think what we'll do as well is we'll paint that hose on there black as well. Where are we at? David Delaney says he's looking forward to the Intercessors. Yeah, I think you and a few, mate, to be fair. I think they're... I mean, somebody was saying there, what, you're not painting 40k stuff? What I actually did last night was I dug out a load of old 40k models that I had that I'd kind of part painted, or I'd used for like doing painting tutorials on how to paint things yellow and stuff on the channel previously. And I put them in to strip the paint off them. So yeah, who knows? We might paint some 40k stuff over time. I've got plenty of stuff that I want to be painting in the short term, not to be fair. Arnold has just donated through the super chat. Thank you very much, Arnold. I hugely appreciate it. Where are we at? Frantic saying still waiting for the Zort. Hopefully the week after when they start taking pre-orders. I can imagine that must be soon, mate. Yeah. Andrew Fairbanks, good evening. He says still at work. Love all the new 40k stuff except that logo. Maybe it'll look better with the new box art. I've seen a lot of comments about how it's very reminiscent of a Top Gun logo. But yeah, Jamie Newton's in as well. Good evening, Jamie. He says his 9-year-old's been playing Imperial Assault with him, but wants more Stormtroopers. So he's bugging me to buy a Legion. Yeah, Legion's not a bad game, to be fair. I mean, I quite enjoy Legion. It's just I kind of the rate of the releases was way too slow in the early days, and the stuff that did come out was all very, very similar. So I kind of waited a bit and then got into a million other things, as you do. Arnold says, can you add some info? What paints, precise brush? At the minute, mate, I am using a Windsor and Newton Series 7 size 1. The reason I'm not using my Artis Opus ones is because I don't want to gunk them up with contrast paints, so I'm just using some other brushes that I've got. And I'm, rather than just like slop it, in fact what I'll do is I'll just bring it into shot here so you can see it. So I'm just painting from the pot. This one is Griffhound Orange contrast paint, and rather than just like slopping it on the way they kind of tell you to do, I'm just really kind of gently just loading up the brush with it. So just go a little bit on the tip really, and then what I'm going to do is just paint it as if it was normal paint really. Not quite that, let me move it before I knock it over. Not quite the kind of like sort of one massive big thick coat, the way it tends to sometimes get described. And these minis have all been zenithal primed. So if you watched my video a few weeks ago about how to zenithal prime using an airbrush, that's exactly what I've done with these. In fact, these were the minis that I actually primed for that video. And yeah, so basically I'm not using the GW primers. I think they work really well, but I also think that these, if you use these more like a less like a huge kind of like heavy kind of contrast paint, if you like, and almost more like an ink or like a wash, and use them that way, you can get some really nice effects with them. So yeah, that's what I'm intending to do. So yeah, just a tiny little bit on the tip of the brush. I mean, you might be able to see there, it's not going right the way up to the kind of to the ferrule. So if I can maybe, you can see it's just on the tip. I'm not soaking the whole brush, and then I'm just being really selective about kind of where I'm putting it on. Just taking my time with it really. So on these ones, I'm just going onto there's like a little bit of armor paneling on the back of the glove. And the idea is I'm just going to basically try and just show that contrast paints can be fast, but you don't have to slop them on over the whole model kind of thing. Really, I think they've got mixed reviews. Some people love them, some people hate them, and I think it just, you can use them as just another paint really. Like some of these colours give really nice coverage, and obviously you might be able to see there. So on the back of it, it's much darker than it is on the top because it's gone over the zenithal prime. And what I'll do is later on I'll highlight these up. Once everything's dry and stuff, I'll highlight them up so it won't stay just contrast. I'm going to try and give them that little bit extra. Where are we at? Devon saying, I seriously consider 9th edition. Neck ones look fantastic, and the smaller scale games. So there was a bit of a live stream type thing yesterday, I think it was Tuesday night on Twitch from Games Workshop, and one of the things they talked about for the smaller games was they mentioned combat patrol games, and they mentioned 500 points or 25 points of power level. So it looks like you're going to be able to kind of play with the standard rules, if you like. It looks like you'll be able to play either sort of matched player points costs, or you'll be able to play with the power levels, which makes it even more simple to get into. And I kind of looked at some current 500 point army lists, and I think like a Primaris faction would be something like sort of 10 standard intercessors, maybe 5 Hellblasters and a captain or something like that. So we're talking relatively small scale for getting started. Certainly kind of what I was talking about last night or on Monday night was like it definitely feels like kind of start collecting boxes could be a possibility, like start collecting box games. So that would be interesting. But yeah, and obviously for those that were a little bit more sort of into the current version of it at the minute, you'll know that the amount of control points that everybody gets is going to be consistent. So everybody will start with the same number of control points. Because I think at the minute there are some factions who basically they can get control points for fun. Or command points, sorry, not control points. They can get command points for fun. And then there's other armies who really struggle to generate them. So I think what they're doing is they're evening out being able to kind of get command points, and then And then if you want to do certain things, you'll have to spend them. So if you want to have a bit more of a soup army purely for theme, yeah, right, like everybody gets them for theme at the minute, you'll have to pay command points to bring other codex units into your faction. So there's all sorts of stuff changing, to be fair. But we'll see more about it over the coming weeks, and then we'll see what they're gonna tell us about things like the new app and stuff. But yeah, if anybody's interested, Monday night, if you didn't watch Monday night's live stream, I went into that in a bit more detail. Marco says Necromunda Dark Uprising is really high on his list, still undecided. For the same money, you could buy new warbands for Warcry, expansions for Blackstone, or maybe Core Space. I think it depends on what you want. Core Space is an awesome shout if you're going to be playing solo, because obviously it's a game you can play solo. Necromunda is a good shout if you're going to be able to kind of to get some games in. I know but by the same stretch, I know you're a big painter as well, and like I guess the quality of the models is hugely important. You don't want to be painting. You don't want to be spending big money to paint stuff that's not particularly great, do you, mate? So yeah, right. So I'm just getting into some kind of like the inside of the legs, in the inside of the thighs. Looks like it's kind of like a bit of like an undersuit under the armor. So we'll do a bit of that orange. I think we'll highlight some of his boots as well. I'm kind of winging it really. So what I've got is the Operation Kaldstrom book here, and this is the model that I'm painting, and I'm just kind of winging it from there. I'm not using the exact same colors. I'm just kind of I'm using that more just so I can kind of try and pick out what things are, and try and take it from there. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably paint that tank on his back if I get it on camera. We'll paint the tank on his back. And we'll paint that orange, and then that'll highlight up quite nicely as well. Cylindrical stuff always seems to kind of highlight nice because there's always a nice sort of curvature to it of where light would catch it. So it's never a bad thing to paint like that. Tony says looking forward to see the Silent King and the new Catan. Other than that, been doing some steampunk in his swap mini. I need to have a think about the swap mini for Scott. So in our Patreon group, if anybody is not familiar, we do have a Discord which is available for YouTube members and Patreons. Members are those folks that you'll see in the chat who have their names a different colour. There's a monthly fee for that, and those folks basically get access to a Discord chat. And we're doing, thank you very much to VJ who's organising this. We're doing like a painting swap, so we all paint one miniature based upon a theme, and this month's theme is Plague, and then we basically send it to our nominated partner, just as a bit of a nice thing to do, really, something to keep the community buzzing and keep it interesting and sort of looking forward to some different stuff. Gives you a chance to paint some miniatures that you maybe wouldn't necessarily paint. So yeah, it's a bit of fun, but I'm sure Scott will tell me what kind of thing he wants. But yeah, we'll get that sorted. I've got plenty on the plate at the minute anyway, because I've got to finish off some more of my I've got to get my Dead Zone stuff finished. I've got to get my Kings of War stuff done as well. These will be finished in the next day or so, I would imagine. So yeah, it's all going good. Starty says, so now you're a full-time hobbyist and all hobby purchases should be tax deductible. Technically, mate, they will be, but what I would say is certainly in the early days, and it's certainly like the only reason I'm going to be sort of paying any tax, essentially, I don't think I'm going to be earning enough money in the early days to kind of to break through the tax threshold. Obviously, I'll be doing all the accounting and everything else, but it didn't make me that much money at the minute. Let's put it that way. So the only reason I'll be paying tax in my first year is because I've been working for a company, and obviously I've been earning money since like March, April, May, June. I'll obviously have redundancy payment in July as well. So I'll pay tax this year. So obviously I'll be able to do some of the stuff will be tax deductible, but things like my camera and stuff. But I think it all depends really on hobby purchases. Really, I think you'll have to, because if it's hobby, then technically it's not tax deductible, is it? Because it's personal stuff. But if it's stuff that's only for the channel, then that's a different kettle of fish. So yeah, I've got to get my head around all of that stuff. Having my own business and running that and keeping the accounts and everything is all going to be something very, very new to learn. So yeah, that'll be fun. Something new to get my teeth into. Peter Coon's saying, as mentioned on Facebook, bought some 40k. One of his gaming buddies started playing 8th edition with his son, so potentially to get some games in. Doesn't have the codexes, but Battle Scribe can help him out. Yeah, to be fair, mate, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's in the codexes, but in the grand scheme of things, people buy them for the points, really, don't they? Robert's saying he's debating whether it's worth painting all these guardsmen with the new 9th rules coming in, new command point rules and all that. It depends, mate. You can always still play them, can't you? Cliff's saying he's thinking about taking a look at Wild West Exodus. They're beautiful minis, mate. I have had a demo of the game and it felt slightly complicated, but at that particular time, I think the game was still in quite a bit of flux. It was still, the rules were still changing. So, yeah. Matthew Wilkinson saying, just diving in to see, Blackstone looks pretty cool and play with the family. Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely can. So next one I'm going to be doing, so this is the first time I've bought this. This is the Contrast Apothecary White. And essentially I'm going to put that over all the areas, which is most of what's left, to be fair, which I want to kind of keep a white or a bright one. But what I will do is I'll go back and I'll highlight it white later, because it's not really going over a very light base. So we'll see how it goes on. Worst comes to worst, these can always be stripped, can't they? Matthew says, yeah, sorry, that was where Arnold donated. Thank you very much, Arnold. Busey saying, only found out about top and live chat a few weeks ago. I always forget, mate, when you pop out the chat so I can have a full screen for when I'm kind of like doing these streams and stuff, it always seems to default randomly. It defaults to top chat rather than live chat. And I don't know why, how it kind of filters what's worthy of being in top chat or what's not worthy of being in top chat. But yeah, it means I missed loads of comments, and it looks like it looked like all the comments had dried up, and yet when I looked across to my live stream one, which is the kind of like the one that the software that's running the actual chat, yeah, that's running the stream, yeah, there was loads more comments in there, so that was when it dawned on me. Daniel Engel says, good evening, everyone. Oh, good afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon, Daniel. Kieran says, that's just jumped off the top of my screen there. Kieran says, did a live stream of a game over on his podcast Facebook group. Really weird talking to a camera and trying to make a playthrough interesting. Waffles for over 2 hours. I tell you what, mate, I mean, I've been doing live streams now for quite some time, and it took me a hell of a long time to get my head around the kind of remembering to keep looking down the lens, which is why I never have the little sort of the screen at the side. I never have the screen out, because otherwise your eyes tend to focus on the screen at the side instead. I even used to put like a little, I used to have like a little smiley face on some blue tack, and I used to blue tack it to the top of the camera just to kind of make me remember that, like, just keep looking here, like keep looking here. The little kind of things that you do over time when you're first learning. And it also, I've said this before, like I'm not the most kind of like outgoing person, really, like extrovert person, really. I can be quite an introvert at times, and just remembering to kind of to keep talking, even when I'm the only person in the room. Like, I'm the only person in this room, I mean, just remembering to keep talking. Sometimes you get a bit sidetracked and you forget, especially when I'm painting as well. It's only recently I started doing painting streams, because the idea of being able to concentrate on painting, concentrate on streaming, concentrate on interacting, and actually do a half decent job of the painting as well, or good enough. It was a lot to remember, and it's quite easy to get a bit sidetracked with all of that. So yeah, mate, it's all I can say is just keep doing it. You'll learn to love it. What's hard is when you first start doing it, and I don't know, mate, you might have had a big crowd in for yours, but when you first start doing it, if you've not done it before, you tend to not get a lot of people watching, or certainly when you first start, it can be really quiet, and it's almost a learning technique on its own to remember to be able to have that. This is why I always have topics on the Monday night live streams. It's almost a safety net for me, because as long as I've got a topic and I'm knowledgeable enough about that topic, or I have some opinions on that topic, I know for a fact I can talk all night kind of thing, where there's always that that fear that you'll basically just run out of things to talk about. And then I just go, so has anybody got a question or is there anything you want to ask? It's that kind of thing. So, and especially with these Wednesday hobby hangout ones, because I'm concentrating on the painting, I don't like really want to kind of have topics especially for them as well. Because and the other side is that they're always a bit quieter in the chat because a lot of you lot are basically painting as well. So you're not sitting kind of like typing away on the keyboards. So it's just something you kind of get used to over time. And I'm fortunate that the channel's grown and the community's grown, that there's enough people kind of come into these things now, and it just keeps me going. So you lot make these chats work. If it wasn't for you lot, I'd be sitting here just twiddling my thumbs, I think. Where are we at? Victor saying, do you think artist opus brushes are a worthy investment? They are quite expensive. I really like mine, mate, to be honest. Like I said before, the only reason I'm using these Winsor & Newton ones, these are my older ones. But I'll show you what I have for my artist opus stuff. I've got this rack here. So I tell you what, I'll just zoom out a little bit while we're talking about this. So I've got, I'll try not to drop them. So the Series S are the original ones, which are the kind of like standard ones, if you like. So I've got a size 1, 2, 3, a 0 and a 000 there. So that's on a nice little rack that I've got in front of me. But I've also got this set here as well in a nice wooden box. And in here, in this set is some of my Series M ones as well. So I've got another size 2 Series S, a 00 Series S. There's a size 0M, which is the shorter bristle ones, the miniature series. And then I've got a 000M as well. And then here it comes, I'll get that back on screen there. It comes with a little brush soap as well. So in here is my brush soap. And then what I also have is I've got all of these, the dry brush range as well. So these are the Series Ds. So that's the extra large one. I've got the large, I've got the medium, the small, and the extra small as well. And if you check out the Artist Opus YouTube channel, which has recently kind of started up, they show you how to use those dry brushes really, really well to get some amazing effects. It almost looks like it's been airbrushed. It does such a good job of it. Byron, who is basically the part owner of Artist Opus, really does know what he's doing when it comes to those dry brushes. So personally, mate, I think they're worth the investment. What I would suggest is think about what you use now. I do 95% of the work. So when I'm painting, 95% of what I do, I use that brush, Series 2, Series S size 2. The points on them are great. It really does keep its tip. This brush is well over a year old now. So just, I wouldn't suggest going out and buying a full set like I've got. I'd suggest picking up the ones that you think you're going to get the most use out of really, and then just give them a try. Aggression seeing the airbrush with contrast yesterday was an epiphany. Photos will be up on the page when the batch is complete. Looking forward to seeing them, mate. I've heard a lot about airbrushing with contrast, but I've never tried it. Peter saying, hooray for Combat Patrol. One Pip says, got to run, have a lovely afternoon, stay safe. Thank you very much for coming in, buddy. Peter says, wanted to play Combat Patrol, never found anybody who wanted a game. That was one of the things we chatted about a little while back, wasn't it, on the live stream, is that basically it's all right saying, yeah, we'll do these smaller point games, but if nobody's going to play them, what I would suggest is, by making them intrinsic in that rule book now, I think we'll start to see some people who are interested. I think we'll start, like, that's my hope. And I actually think because Kill Team's not getting really a bit of an update through this, I think we might even see some Kill Team players coming over and potentially picking it up. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I've had a chat with Jason, my mate. He's busy. He might even be in the stream tonight. I don't know if he's in the stream tonight or if he's just painting at home quietly. But he's painting his Imperial Guard, his Adeptus Mechanicus. It's not Adeptus Mechanicus, sorry. It's Astra Militarum. He's painting up his start collecting box for that. So we'll probably have some. We'll have some games, no doubt. Okay, so that's looking okay there. Now what I'm going to do is, I think, just to give it a little bit of colour, I think, a little bit of something to focus on, I think I'm going to use this contrast Ethermatic blue, and I'm going to just paint the little, like I don't know what it is really, like whatever the kind of weapon it is. This, I'll show you this little barrel thing at the bottom here. In the picture they show it as red, but that's more against the yellow. So I'm just painting it. If it looks awful, we can always paint over it, can't we? It's part of the test really, just to see how it goes. But this really is quite a quick way to get these done. Yeah, so I've always wanted to try more of the contrast paints, but I've never invested them really. Christian's just sharing the Patreon link there. Thank you very much. We're at 86 Patreons now. Don't forget, I said when I get to 100 Patreons, I'm going to give away to one of the Patreons. I'm going to give away my fully painted Hero Quest box, my original from childhood, my own personal one. I'm going to be giving that away. So please, if you're on the fence, if you think that to access to the Discord, if you think that's even if that's not enough on its own to come in and pledge, there's a monthly podcast every month as well. There's freebie t-shirts, freebie mugs and stuff after you've been pledged for a while. There's discount codes for merchandise. There's loads of reasons why you should check it out. But if all of them things are not enough, there's going to be a giveaway coming up soon too. Luke says, I decided I absolutely won't be getting 40k a game. I'll buy some of the new Necrons, and that's a different matter entirely. Yeah, I think a lot of people will buy them just for the stuff as well. Scott's got some 2A Plague miniatures, but I'm also thinking of doing a GW Dead Zone crossover. Interesting, mate. Marco saying, ask for Mortorian. Have we got? I'll have to go in and check. I've got no idea if there's kind of like a time limit or a price limit or any of that kind of stuff on the options. So I can see me having to go in and double check. Where we at? Peter says, you doing anything else to help with the channel, like how apps went into terrain, apps went into terrain surplus. Oh, you doing anything else to help with the channel? Maybe I'm reading that wrong, Peter. What do you mean by that, mate? Do you mean like? Do you mean for 40k there or something? Sorry, buddy. Just if you clear that up for us, mate. What you're asking me there, and I'll try and see if I can answer it. But I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Devin said, I wonder if we'll see people picking up multiple start collecting boxes for Combat Patrol, like they did for Kill Team. Quite a bit more, but maybe GW could release smaller start playing boxes. I think we probably will, mate. I mean, I certainly will. Because I think this is one of the things that I've always sort of thought about 40k really. There's loads of factions that I quite like some of the models, but I don't necessarily like them all. So that was one of the things that really interested me with Kill Team, was it would give me an opportunity to kind of just to try a few different little smaller factions, if you like. So yeah, I think some people will, mate. I think some people will. Luke said I'm going to have to work my ass off when they arrive, but managed to get Veman Dead Zone set. Won't have long to get them done for the Dead Zone contest. I'll tell you what, mate, that I've got the Veman set, and you only paint about half the models to make the 150 points, mate. So just check the points lists before you dive in, because you might end up having to paint way more than you expect for that competition. Where's that just gone? Just dove off the top of my screen. Gillian says, Apothecary White is one of the worst. It has horrible coverage. Do you know what it is, mate? I have heard so many mixed reviews. I've heard some people absolutely raving about it, and then I've heard others kind of saying, oh no, it's awful. So I wanted to pick some up just to try it. To be honest, white is a funny colour at the best of times, and I'm not going from a white base coat here, so it's never going to highlight up to white. But what the plan is to kind of to use it over the top of this Zenithal Prime, to try and sort of even it up a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll use white to kind of highlight some of the high points really. So I'm using it almost just as a base. And like I say, I don't know whether I showed it before. This was the one I did as a bit of a test really. And the jacket was done with that apothecary white, and then I've kind of highlighted up the shoulders and the forearms just to give a little bit of kind of contrast to it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to crank these out and get them done quick so I can get them onto the channel and get some videos made with them. So I can always go back and do some more work with them at a later date. So what I'm doing now, folks, is I'm going over the top of that contrast now with Wild Rider Red, which is a very orangey red. It's normally one of the ones I use to highlight my reds, but for this one I'm using it like to build up from the contrast colour, and just to try and just to highlight it up a little bit. I've just put some on my wet palette. I've mixed a little bit of my airbrush thinners with it just to kind of thin it down a bit, and I'm just kind of picking some of the areas out. We're gonna highlight it up a little bit further afterwards as well, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And again, we're doing it more just so it visually just looks a bit different. Like I'm not really a kind of like a realistic painter, if you like. It's never going to look like a one of those golden demon winning ones where you go, wow, I thought it was I thought it was real kind of thing. Like I didn't realize it was a painted miniature. My style's never going to be like that. My style is always a bit more cartoony, if you like, and I like to push the kind of the brightness and the kind of the saturation in certain colours really just to make them pop a little bit. I think. I mean, not everybody likes that term, like saying like that makes a model pop, but you know what I mean, don't you? Like just to kind of make it stand out that little bit. Like it's exactly what I've done with my Dead Zone stuff. It's what I've done with my dwarves for Kings of War. It's just that kind of gives a little bit of high contrast to it really. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just going around the model now, just picking that up. I think that's probably enough of that one. Where are we at? Tim Kelly, nice to see you, fella. How the devil are you, my friend? Peter says, someone mentioned God took all my metal Acadians from the back and second edition out of storage this afternoon. Wanted to know how many points I had. Yeah, I wonder how many you have got, mate. Tim saying painting brothers and badges for a change. I'll finish a mini one day. You've been painting those brothers and badges for ages, mate. You must have some of them done, though, surely, or have you got like 25 of them like halfway through? Is that what's going on? A little bit of Lamium medium, I think. Scott saying he watched it. Kieran enjoyed it. Oh, that was the live stream we're talking about. Daniel says, how was putting the Jing together for you? It was equally as painful, mate, as it was putting together the panel. But I did them all the same day, so I built the panel and the Jing all at the same time. So it was just that one full day I had of absolutely kind of like frustrating getting them to stick. I just need to buy better glue, mate, and get some what's it called, some activator or some ISO stuff, but or IPA. But yeah, I struggled when I had I think it was the Operation Ice Storm set. I struggled putting them together, mate. I'm assuming there must be some kind of coating on the metals from the manufacturing process that just doesn't like the glue that I use, because I don't hear about it online a lot. But yeah, so it's as I mentioned before, it's not the quality of the minis. It's not like the fits are bad. The fits are fantastic. It just for whatever reason, mine just seem to never want to stick. So it's definitely something either with the material itself reacting with the glue I've got, or there's some kind of issue with the glue I've got. But yeah, once they're stuck, they're stuck. It just seems to take forever to kind of go off. But we're on our way now. We're painting them. They're almost done. I don't know whether you saw in the Facebook group last week, I shared the panel models that I'd done. I've still got 2 panel models left to finish actually. But yeah, they've made good progress. I think I sat and watched the rest of the Netflix series, The Last Dance, about the Chicago Bulls. Really enjoyed that actually. So I kind of put that on in the background while I was sitting painting my panel stuff, and just cracked on. Phil says model is already looking very nice, mate. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think what's distracting from it at the minute is the fact that it looks like there's a lot of kind of like light grey on it, with the light grey base. I think if I painted the base, it would kind of like that bit of the model would start to pop a little bit more. And then once I get a bit more white into the greys, it'll start to come away. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's going, mate. Arnold says you might as well keep the model painting a bit more central for us to see what you do. It's not that easy, mate. Even if I just kind of forget, I forget when I'm sitting painting, because what I can do is I can really easily do that, and then it'll always be in shot, but that's not much good for you. So what happens is I have to zoom in so that you can actually at least see what I'm doing, but then I've literally got like that, I've got that much movement. I'm like literally an inch backwards and forwards really there. That's all I've got. So I have to keep remembering to look at the screen. It's something I'll just kind of train myself over time, but it's still new. It's still new to me, really. Paul saying, evening all. Hiya, Paul, how are you doing? He says, good, I missed the start of this. 3D printer's been on the blink. Oh, that's 3D printers, mate, there. Love them and loathe them at the same time. Beauty saying, lovely box that. James says, how do you keep these brushes clean? Anything I use seem to get gunked up quickly. So what I do is, I'll show you how I clean my brushes, because I'll do one now to show you. So I get my brush soap out of that box. I put the brush in the water. I swirl it around in the soap, and then I rinse it out, and I clean it on the paper towel, and then I basically just pull it to a point. And then and sometimes if I have like a really kind of heavy painting session, I'll put a bit more soap on them, and then leave them with soap on them overnight and clean it off the next day. It just kind of conditions the bristles. But you can see, I mean, this is an old brush and it still comes to a really nice point on it. Matthew says, thanks for showing us the Opus. I'm looking for good brushes all the time. Recently started to use scale 75 paints and brushes. I've never used either, mate, of them scale 75 paints or brushes, to be fair. Oh, sorry. Right, I've just read your Pete. I've just read your comment there. I'll get back down to that one in a second. Tyree saying not interested in big games. No, I don't think I am, mate. To be fair, Lee Burns is in. Nice to see you, Lee. He says got some Underworld's Orcs on the table. Yeah, yellow armor is surprisingly okay. Yeah, I don't mind painting yellow actually. Peter says now we got the base colour on his Forge Guard. He's starting to like the models much more. I know exactly what you mean, mate. Luke said he's a huge champion of contrast paints. I think they're a real game changer for speed painting and just making life a little easier. You can also be used in interesting ways outside of the instructions. Yeah, I think the same thing. Scott saying you have free reign, knock yourself out. Right, mate, I will do then. Right, sorry, mate, I know exactly what you said, Peter. Now, you saying, are you doing anything else to help with the channel, like how Luke's APS went into terrain supplies? No, mate, Luke's channel was all about kind of like sort of saving money when kind of making terrain and stuff like that. And that's like terrain channels tend to grow a lot faster than the purely kind of gaming channel, if you like. And terrain making really isn't really my kind of bag, to be fair. However, Luke is spending so much time with that side of his business now. Like he's essentially using the YouTube channel really almost as a marketing tool now for his products, and for his business. And that's not what I want to get to. I mean, this channel was always about the community, really. It's about me showing all of the different bits of games and things that maybe people don't see anywhere else, or giving like an alternative view on it from somebody that's not like heavily into games. Luke does sort of sponsored videos, so companies will pay him to make videos and review their products. I'm not doing any of that. Everything I do is going to be, it's basically funded by the community, which means that you know, and I'm not suggesting you can't trust Luke, but you know that basically my opinion is my opinion. It's not a paid for like endorsement or anything like that. And that's basically what like this will always be about. And I'm not doing this to try and sort of become rich from it, if you like. I know this will always stay relatively small. However, I think I've got to a point, and I think the community supported me to a point that's allowed me to do this full time, which gives me a lot more time to make more content. And the idea being that as I make more content, more people get to see my stuff, more people will understand what the channel's about and what I'm trying to achieve with it. and more people will support me that way, because essentially what you're doing is you're supporting a community maybe and a channel that otherwise kind of like, as an example, my live stream on Monday was about Warhammer 9th edition, and I had more views from that live stream when it ended than I had from a week's worth of views on the video about the Warlord paint set, if you like. And if I was just about the views, if I was trying to get ad revenue, if I'm trying to increase my subscriber numbers so that I can basically have a bigger reach and therefore charge companies more money to kind of review their products, if you like, I'd cover Games Workshop stuff. That's all I would do, because other stuff just doesn't get you the same kind of level of exposure or the same level of views. That said, I'd get really bored just doing that, because it wouldn't be true to me. It wouldn't be kind of true to what I do as a hobby. So yeah, in that respect, mate, I've got no plans about kind of branching out and starting my own business. Like this is my business now, really. This is where I'm putting all of my time and energy, and the folks that have supported me through Patreon basically to get me to this stage. I think it would be a little bit kind of disingenuous if I basically if I used their money to then go off down a completely different route that I'd not kind of like mentioned before, if you like, because they've supported me to get to this point, and that's exactly what I've always wanted to do. So from my side of things, I'm kind of living the dream now, really. It's exactly what I wanted to do. I just have to kind of put my money where my mouth is, if you like, and crank out the content and keep going. And hopefully you've seen the fact that as I've had more time, and I'm still not getting as much time as I will have in the future, because obviously I'm looking after my little one as well while he's on off nursery. But you should hopefully have seen that at least I'm cranking out more content now. Hopefully the variety of stuff that you're starting to see. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm kind of part way through. So I'm in the middle of building my Dead Zone board at the minute. I've got Conquest by Parabellum, the Last Argument of Kings. I've got a starter set to me. So I've been building that up in the background and reading through the rules to that, so I can give you a review of that, tell you what I think of that game. I've been talking to other companies. I've got a few people who've got like sort of miniature agnostic rule sets who've sent me stuff, and I've got a video planned which basically will be talking about like a number of different rule sets that don't have miniatures with them. Like, those are the kind of things that you won't see elsewhere, because people know that those videos just don't get a lot of views. And I'm not doing it just for the views. I'm doing it for the community, if you like. So I think, as I've mentioned before, like if I've got 200 Patreons who manage to make this kind of like a possibility for me, and I get 200 views on a video, and all those 200 views come from the Patreons, then it doesn't matter. I only got 200 views. What matters is that basically I'm producing the content that the people who support me want to watch. And it's a fine balance, of course, because you have to, some videos you have to do those videos that appeal to a wider audience, because that's how I bring new people in to support me, if you like, how I kind of get people to know who I am and what I'm doing. So sometimes you do have to kind of do those videos, but I'll still only do the ones I enjoy. Like, I wouldn't be talking about 40k new edition if I absolutely hated it or it wasn't something that I was interested in. So yeah, it's a mix of stuff, really. That was quite a really long-winded way of saying no, mate. I've got no more plans. Hopefully that was kind of explained, really. I think at some point in the future, I think, who knows now with all of the kind of social distancing and stuff, I'd love to think that at some point I could potentially open my own sort of gaming store or something like that locally. Maybe get somebody to go into it as a partnership, really, and run that business with me. So that might be a bit of a future thing. But yeah, we're talking years away, really. We're talking years away. So yeah, so what I've done there is I've used Vallejo Model Air White, just pure white. I find the GW whites not particularly very good. And I've just kind of thinned it down, really, and just tried to kind of highlight that up a little bit. It's not brilliant. However, the model's kind of like 90% done. I'm going to highlight the oranges a little bit more. Where are we at? Terry Bees is saying best white is the coat to arms, the P3 one. Yeah, I like the P3 stuff, mate, but I'm not a big fan of their tubs. The lids always snap off on them, mate. I've got loads of P3 stuff from my my War Machine days, and the lids always snap on them, mate. People having a bit of a chat there. Yeah, Tim's saying, yeah, loads half completed. Been waiting on the same 6 for about 5 weeks now. Gareth Graham, nice to see you, mate. He says, I start with Infinity, move to GW stuff. Infinity seems so frustrating and fiddly now. Greetings from Cape Town. Thank you, mate. It's funny. I kind of go around in those kind of circles as well. Is that I get a little bit kind of bored. Not bored. I get a bit frustrated with kind of all getting the clippers out and cleaning up the plastics and wiping off the mold lines and all that kind of stuff. And then I go back and I do some minis from a different company that are maybe metal or something like that, and the fit are not very good, or like they're a bit of a nightmare to stick together. Not these Infinity ones, I should add there. And then I realise how much I miss working with plastics, kind of thing. But I wouldn't say that I didn't find the Infinity models fiddly to put together. I just found that for whatever reason my glue wouldn't stick them. And that was what was frustrating me, mate. Tim saying, too little paint time, too many projects, crap production speed. I tell you what, mate, like just have one miniature, just focus on one mini and get it done. Honestly, the feeling you get from completing something just completely outweighs like trying to do 10 things at once. It's why a lot of the times, like these painting streams for me, really I should be sitting batch painting these. But these painting streams force me to kind of just focus on one mini because it's a lot less interesting for you to watch me batch painting on a live stream. And the idea is that hopefully, like by the end of the stream, I've finished the miniature, if you like. And it's that kind of stuff, that sense of like, well, by the end of tonight, I'll be at least one more miniature down, and then I'm kind of cracking on. So honestly, just try just doing one mini, mate. See if you can get it finished. And just see how that makes you feel about it. David saying, I'm curious, does anyone have any paint schemes based off pop culture? I actually painted, I'll have to try and dig it out, but Seamus from the Resurrectionists from Malifaux, I painted him with like a big, like, you know the top hat that Apollo Creed wears in Rocky IV? He kind of had a big top hat like that, and he looked a bit like a ringmaster type thing. I'll have to pull the mini out and get a picture of it a bit, and I'll kind of show you that. It was just something a bit different. There was something about the model that made me think he kind of like, it was kind of like, it was crying out to be like a kind of like a ringmaster, kind of something a bit different. And yeah, it was still one of the best minis I think I've painted. I just seem to really enjoy it. You know, sometimes you paint a mini and you get into a bit of a groove with it. And some minis you feel like they almost paint themselves. That was one of them, and I really enjoyed it. So, folks, that's kind of coming on all right. I'm quite happy with how that's coming together, really, for the speed. I mean, I don't even know what time it is, to be fair. What time are we at now? Been going about an hour or something like that, and that's almost done. I think what I'll do is I'll probably I might get a little bit of a lighter blue, I think, and just pick out some blue on the, you know, on this kind of like this tank thing at the bottom, and just go over that. Where are we at? Yeah, I think it's all just shot off the top of my screen there. No wonder I couldn't find out where I was up to. Chris Dawes, a good result with gel super glue on the Kaldstrom models. To be honest, mate, I normally always use the Gorilla gel glue, and I've never had any problems using Gorilla gel glue on other stuff. But with the whole lockdown thing, where I normally buy it from is closed at the minute, and all I could kind of pick up at the time, because obviously I've not really been going anywhere. The only thing I could pick up was whatever it's called, Loctite stuff. And to be fair, it was working for everything else. Where I put that Lamium medium, it was working for everything else. It just didn't seem to want to work for that. Camo was saying there, hi Camo, by the way, thanks for coming at the stream. He's saying he had some problems, or he or she, I shouldn't assume, had the same trouble getting the glue to stick. Yeah, I don't know what it is, mate. I honestly just, I wish I knew what it was, because and it's not like I didn't scrub, like clean them and stuff. I honestly put them like through soapy water and scrubbed them with a toothbrush twice, because like I say, I've had these problems in the past before. So I thought, oh, you know, maybe that's all it was. Maybe it wasn't cleaned properly. So I kind of went overboard with the cleaning, and for whatever reason, mate, it didn't seem to make any difference at all. So Barry's saying a little late, but really want to see the Infinity models. Hello, mate. How you doing? Hope you're well, sir. Hope you're well. Arnold saying meant it's positive feedback. Oh, I didn't take it. I don't take it as a slight, mate. I've got thick skin. I would say, however, that I tell you what, with this whole lockdown thing, it's starting to make me really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a bit agitated and stuff that wouldn't normally kind of bother me, or stuff that's not even intended as a dig. I sometimes kind of take it the wrong way. So if I've offended anybody online anywhere, if you think I'm taking the hump with you, it's not intentional. I think I'm just a bit touchy at the minute. Tybee says, I love you, Andy, but fuck getting shot into space in a wee while. No bother at all, mate. I'm sure I'll still be here when they're out of sight. I just jump off the top of my screen again. Loads of chat, good stuff. Malkavian, nice to see you, fella. How are you doing? Says Star Saga Amazing Labs on the painting table. Nice one. Tiberius is saying it's cancelled. Well, there you go, mate. You don't have to go anywhere now. Maybe maybe he realised I was on YouTube tonight, and he went, oh, Andy's on. Like, can we pop it back till tomorrow? He doesn't stream on a Thursday, does he? We'll pop it back a day. Corvus Games Terrain, good evening, mate. How are you doing? Says, how's everyone doing? Just drop me say hello. I'll catch the vid during work tomorrow. Nice one, fella. Don't work too hard. Nice one. Where am I at? I kind of lost my train of thought there. Paul Jones says we're going to why is it cancelled? Saturday's the next window. See, that's because I don't stream on a Saturday. That's what it is. Good old lads, put it back for me. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Peter says he's going to have a beer. He thinks he deserves one. What have you done, mate, to deserve a beer? Come on, you tell me in the chat. Tell me why you think you deserve a beer. I'm on the water here. What have you done to deserve a beer? And David Mackay's saying he found some Dead Zone models. Completely forgot you had them. That's kind of what I end up doing, mate, yeah. Redwell's in as well. Scott saying we are not just a community, we are a family. That's kind of how I feel, mate, as well, to be fair. Mark Bericlos saying, a family, hello, mate, how are you doing? Paul Jones says, what did you do as a job before? So, mate, I've done a number of different jobs over the years. However, my most recent job, which I worked at the same company for quite some time, was I ran the UK and Ireland product development team for a company that made toilet rolls, kitchen towels, facial tissues. So basically, I design toilet rolls for a living, or at least I used to, and then I basically manage the team who do it. So we got a team of people who are dotted around the UK, around different factories, designing. And it sounds like, how do you design a toilet roll? But it's not just about kind of putting bears on the designs and patterns and things. It's about what kind of pulp types do you use to get certain strengths and certain like obviously you want tissue to be soft for your bottom. You want kitchen towel to be nice and strong when it's wet. You have to decide how big the sheet should be, how many sheets to have, what price point you're going to hit, what the packaging needs to be made of, which site it's going to be made on, which country it's going to be made in. So yeah, so it's there's a bit more to it than would first appear. But yeah, that's what I did, mate. That was my job before this. And yeah, like I say, I worked for that company for 15 years doing a number of different jobs. Peter says, since you wanted to know the total guard 3,000 points of 9 tanks, 140,000 infantry and 18 heavy weapons and a lonely sentinel, all painted infantry, a third painted. Nice, mate. Good evening, Lee Reynolds. How are you doing, mate? Nathan Taylor saying, totally agree, Scott. Thank you, Nathan. Nathan, where are you from, mate? The reason I ask is I didn't think you were a Northeast lad, but I saw somebody called Nathan Taylor comment in a local gaming group thing recently, and I wondered if it was you. So you don't have to tell me, by the way. I'm just curious. Stephen Pegg saying, we appreciate it for that. That's obviously getting back to when I was chatting about what I do for a channel. Yeah, Peter saying he's got without his plastic Catachan Death World Force as well. Wow. Foible saying you're a superstar, mate. I don't think I'm a superstar, mate. I think I'm hugely fortunate that basically what I enjoyed doing for my hobby, which ended up being what I enjoyed doing in YouTube, everybody told me over the years, you're doing it wrong, you're doing YouTube wrong, you want to, like, if you want to grow, you should do this, you shouldn't do live streams, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Everybody had loads of advice for me saying that I was doing things wrong. However, I always went back to the fact that, where's the pin I'm looking for? I always went back to the fact that I'm not necessarily doing this to grow. I'm doing this because I love doing it, and I love interacting with people. And I started doing YouTube to be kind of part of a community, if you like. And then over time, it grew, and I enjoyed it more and more. I enjoyed my day job less and less, and I honestly just wondered if it was even possible to like turn this into something that could kind of sort of pay the bills. I'm fortunate that my wife has a good job, and between us, when I was doing my old job, we earned more money than we needed to. So I knew I could afford to take a pay cut doing this kind of thing. Like, I'd never replace my day job salary, if you like. I knew I could afford to take a pay cut, tighten my belt a little bit. Like, for example, we have 2 cars at the moment. Like, when my job finishes, it's a company car. That car will go back. I won't be replacing it. We don't need to run 2 cars. Like, all these kind of things, I knew I could kind of, if I could fund it somehow, and then I could kind of cut my cloth to suit, if you like, then this will be possible. And essentially, like, I kind of like worked it out over time, and then the support of the community through Patreons, through the donations on the stream, through buying things, through my affiliate links with Element Games and any future companies that come up. A little hint there, maybe. And basically, like, buying merchandise like T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. That's really the stuff that's allowed me to get to this point. So, yeah. So I don't see myself as kind of like, I'm not no kind of superstar. I'm just somebody that's absolutely fortunate to have found you lot, a community that's happy to support what I want to do, because you get to then see some of the stuff that you don't see elsewhere. Like, there aren't a lot of channels, if you like, online covering things like Kings of War, covering things like Dead Zone, covering things like Infinity. You'll get the odd channel who covers bits of it, but there's very little content, and that's just like, to name but a few. Like, obviously now I'm kind of doing this full time, and I'm in the middle of ramping up to doing more content, because it's still relatively kind of new of doing this full time. I'm spending a lot of time building and painting and contacting companies and kind of like background work, if you like. Like things like Birds and Badges, things like all of these miniature games that don't have any kind of, they are rule sets only with no miniatures. These are all the kind of things that you won't see elsewhere. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, and you believe in what I'm trying to achieve with this, and you like my content as well, there's no point supporting me if you don't like what I do, then yeah, that's where the plan is. Jimmy G says, oh, well, sat watching the Dragon launch, now being scrubbed, might as well join you lot. Thank you, Jimmy. Bit of chat there. Paul saying, sitting and focusing on a single miniature is amazing. You won't get armies done that way, but the results are awesome. I think that's the point, mate. I think it's you definitely won't get armies done that way at all. But if you feel like you're ploughing through like 10 models and you're never getting anything finished, sometimes it's a bit of a motivator to just kind of to sit and just concentrate on one and just try and get your mojo back a little bit, if you like. Otherwise, you do feel like you're just going in circles and not getting anything done. It's a bit like that thing you do when you're writing a to-do list, and every day you come into work and you write all the jobs you want to do, and when you go home, the list is twice as long as when you started, because like nothing's getting ticked off, if you like. You're not managing to complete stuff. It's that kind of feeling, isn't it? And sometimes, even though it's your hobby, sometimes you can get into that kind of same situation where Just nothing's ever getting done. Nothing's ever getting finished. So yeah, sometimes it's nice to take a step back and just concentrate on one model. William says, hello William Jones, says, as a bitch, you don't own a shop. The shop owns you. I had a coffee shop and roastery, never again. Yeah, it's not like, it wouldn't, it's not like, because I'm not under this kind of false illusion that basically I'd, like I'd spend all day playing games or painting models or anything like that. That's one way to go bankrupt. I just kind of, I see a lot of things that I think retail, certainly in our hobby, could do differently to either attract new people or to give a much better experience to the current customers. And I see so many of them getting it wrong. So I think I've got things that from my experience, I've worked in retail in the past. I've worked in marketing. I've worked in product development type stuff. I think I've got some good ideas, but yeah, it would need to be a million planets to line up for that kind of thing, and it's not my passion kind of thing at the minute, if you like. Beauty says, how do you find the air paints? I see people using them as normal. The white looks good and need a new white. I don't use the air paints from GW, mate, because what I find is that they're just thinned out versions of what I've already bought. So I just thin out what I have, mate. Paul's saying there he's doing his Dead Zone revs as Nod. Dead Zone enforces the N7 armor for Mass Effect. Oh, nice, mate. Yeah, that'll look good. Christian's just t-shirt there, yeah. So let's go. I'll show you my t-shirt. This is the Painted Minis Hit Harder. I think this might have been my original t-shirt, the first one I ever designed. So I'm thinking about potentially doing a limited edition t-shirt, do a one-off design that will only be available for a short period of time. But I need to spend some time designing t-shirts at first. Camo certainly's played the first F5C. Sorry, I'll go back a second. Paul saying I use Mitre Bond super glue. Yeah, somebody else told me about Mitre Bond as well, mate. I think it was Luke Pryor, because actually I read, I was going to order some from Amazon. When I read on the box, it didn't say anything about glue and metal, so I didn't really want to take the chance, mate. So that was how I ended up in that kind of situation. But what was I just going to do there? I think I'm just going to have a really thin glaze of that blue over the pipework. So yeah, it was Luke was telling me that actually it works fine, so I'll probably pick some up in the future. How are we doing? Just my phone going nuts there, just out the corner of my eye. Where were we at? Dave Mackay says, I think everyone's a bit anxious, understandable. Yeah, I think the difference is, mate, is I know it's, like, I can tell when it's happening. There's been loads of times when I've started to write replies to people on things I've seen on Facebook, and then I've just went, what are you doing? Like, it's not you. Like, that's not the kind of thing that you would ever say to anybody kind of thing. Why do you think it's acceptable to do it now? And I kind of delete that message, but I think it's only because I'm in a decent headspace at the minute that I know I'm kind of, I know I'm getting a bit irritable about stuff. That's the word I was thinking about. Camo said he's played the first 5 scenarios of Kaldstrom and really enjoyed it. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Tiberius says, who decided shape butter lavy paper? So, mate, it was, we did make it, but we weren't the original ones to make it. It's all about marketing and luxury, and there are people who will happily spend a lot more money to get like something a bit more luxurious, if you like. So when there's people out there that'll buy it, that's where these kind of things come from. And Scott says, Andy designed the toilet rolls and I make them. So Scott works in one of the factories where I first started. I was a production manager when I first started there. Scott makes the products that so when we design something new and everybody in production goes, oh no, we've got to make this crap now. Scott's the guy that goes, no. Luke says, yeah, Falcon 9 launch got scrubbed Saturday. Weather moved in and caused him to miss the window. Foibles says, you're doing a great job, Andy. Really enjoy the stuff you put out. Thank you, Foibles. It's really kind to get that feedback, definitely. Barry says, BlackJack, for keeping the model on camera, maybe put an X on your table in the optimum spot when you're looking down, you can spot it. To be honest, mate, I've tried that as well, and what happens is I forget to look at the X. to be honest, I always kind of, what I've done is I've got one of the screens now right in my line of sight. So when I look up to talk to you or when I look up to see the chat, I'll remember. But I could literally put a big X on there and I wouldn't see it. I just constantly keep hitting the miniature and keep forgetting about it. So yeah, that's it, mate. Where are we at? Scott's saying, before I found this community, my life was pretty boring and mundane. To be honest, mate, mine was pretty boring and mundane. To be like, I mean this in the nicest possible way. I don't have like a big social circle of friends or anything like that. I've got like one mate really who I go for a beer with now and again, but it's like once a month kind of thing, like, or it was. It's very rare, so it's not like I kind of like do much else either. So like the community here helps me as well. So it's a like I said before, I started doing YouTube really because I didn't get to go to a local gaming group. I was always working away with my job, or I was working like long hours, or I had a young child. So it was all the things that basically I never really got the opportunity to go to a gaming group. So starting the YouTube channel was a way from, because when I first started, YouTube channels were different. Like they weren't like they are now. So when people start a YouTube channel now, they look at people like PewDiePie and they look at all the big YouTubers and they look at Beasts of War and they look at Mini War Gaming and everybody wants to have this really high quality kind of sort of YouTube channel, if you like, multiple cameras and expensive gear and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't like that when I started. It was literally just people sitting with their phones and you were kind of recording what you were doing in your hobby and sharing it online for other people to see, and then they would all comment on your video. And what it was almost, you would call them YouTubers now, but it was just a group of hobbyists who were recording what they were doing and sharing it with other people doing the same thing. And it kind of grew out of that really. It was just that some of my videos got watched by more people, so my channel grew faster than some of those other folks that were doing the same thing. And before I knew it, it was kind of like the channel was at like 1,000 subscribers. A lot of the people that I'd been watching for like long periods of time or were interacting with online for long periods of time were like at like 100 subs, 200 subs. They'd been doing it for years. And it wasn't because they were doing things wrong. It was just they were never, the YouTube stuff was never their kind of, never their hobby. It was the fact that they were doing it to interact with the community. What I found over time was, and probably one of the reasons I grew faster, was that actually I found that making videos was fun too. I enjoyed kind of researching how to edit stuff and how to improve the sound and reading about the technical aspects of cameras and lighting and all that kind of stuff. Like that became another hobby for me. So it's kind of different these days. Like these days is that anybody starting a YouTube channel now really, I would say, has aspirations of it growing really, and that wasn't where I started, I think. Peter saying, I justify my beer. First I replaced the loose panel in the conservatory, then I assembled and primed my forge guard. Then I posted pics on your challenge page. Yeah, go for it, mate. You have a beer. In fact, you bring me one as well. One says, I'd love a shirt. Make it happen, Andy. I've got some shirts, mate, to be fair. If you look up the chat, I think Christian posted a link to them. There's a few different designs out there, mate, but I'm thinking about doing a limited edition one at the minute. Busey says, no, mate, you said Vallejo Air. Oh, sorry, mate, yeah. I bought this for putting through the airbrush. Specifically when I first got the airbrush, because I thought you had to use airbrush paints, and I got this for doing my stormtroopers for Legion. However, now I tend just buy normal paints, mate. I thought you meant the GW air paints. David Denny says, I don't think you need to justify a beer, I just enjoy it. I was being sarcastic when I said it. Thordelum says, upside seems I'm late. Not at all, mate. Welcome in. Barry Kleiber says, rock on. Hello Anna, how are you doing? Red Rose Wargaming. Anybody talk about Burrows and Badgers, please go over and check Red Rose Wargaming. They've just done a Burrows and Badgers, what's it called, battle report thing. Absolutely fantastic. Make sure everyone goes and checks that out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Loads of Warcry stuff on there as well. Anna's saying, been listening and painting up more Burrows and Badgers. Off to bed soon, no earlies tomorrow. See you, Anna, take care. And Tim says, hey, Red Rose, I'll watch your battle report tomorrow. Starty says that the base rim like that for a reason. Yes, mate. So these little things at the side basically is to show your front arc. So this is basically, you can sneak up behind models and kind of attack them from behind. They don't get to do what's called an ERO or a reaction. and that center point really just means it's the front of the model. Basically, that's the center point. And yeah, it's that's what it's for. Christian's sharing the Teespring store. Thank you very much, Christian. And Anna is saying, cheers, Andy, thanks for shout out. Not at all. Much well deserved, Anna. And yeah, please, everybody, anybody that's watching this back later on as well on another day, please do go over and check out Red Rose Wargaming. Awesome channel and lovely folks to boot as well. I've had the pleasure of meeting both Anna and Alan in the flesh as well at Warhammer World. So it was it's always nice to meet folks that you see online, and they're just as nice as you think they are. So yes. William says, totally get about frayed nerves and cabin fever. Chat with Andy, Spud and Krabby have kept me approximately civilised instead of cooking off like some loon. I think, to be fair as well, those three folks, and I include myself in this, are kind of a bit more level-headed as well. There's a lot of people you could chat to online that would send you off down that path. Scott says, Andy, show us your Veman, mate, so I can get an idea of the model count. Oh, they're in a box, mate. I always put them out of sight when I'm not painting them, mate, so I don't get sidetracked. But I'll pop a picture up in the chat later on, mate. Anna says, Dad got diagnosed with bowel cancer today, so all cheer is appreciated. Really sorry to hear that, and I really hope he makes a speedy recovery, and it's nothing too bad in the long run. So yeah, really sorry about that, Anna. Lee Burns says, nice one, Andy. We'll definitely check out Red Rose Wargaming. Never found a decent back rep. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about, really. There's very few channels out there and that cover that kind of stuff, because it's like what I went back to before when I was saying that we used to start, when I started YouTube channels, it wasn't really about the views. It was about that kind of community of YouTube, like sort of creators, if you like, all showing each other different stuff. And these days now, when people start a YouTube channel, they want it to be successful. Why wouldn't you? But the problem is, when you want it to be successful, the trick is to cover the stuff that is successful. And unfortunately, like anything that's not GW has a lot smaller coverage, really. But it also tends to have some really awesome communities around them. So it's a double-edged sword, really. At the end of the day, if you do what you love, you'll never get bored of doing it. So unless you fall out of love with it, of course. For this, I'm just getting a dry brush. I'm just dragging some dry brush of white across to that the black contrast paint. I'm going to be putting some snow on the base of this at some point anyway, so I'm just dragging it over, really, just to give it a bit of a highlight. And then basically, if I don't cover it properly with the Valhalla Blizzard, then at least it's got a bit of colour and a bit of texture in the bottom of it. But yeah, and this is just kind of like bits of sand and little bits of kind of cork and ripped up cork and stuff that's on here, just to give that kind of basing and that. I never really kind of go overboard with the bases. I probably should buy some better basing materials really one day and do a proper job with basing. But yeah, I tend to try and keep them nice, but keep them relatively simple, to be fair. Right, I think I'm going to call that one done, really. There's no point going any further and wrecking it, really, I think. So I'll leave that one to dry, and I'll not put the snow on it yet. So anybody that was asking as well about these painting handles, let me just zoom out a second. So these painting handles, these are the Red Grass Games one, and with the swivel tops. Now the reason why I have backed with my own money, I have backed the new Red Grass Games painting handles, and the difference with the new ones is this top piece pulls off, and you get spare, or you can buy more of these, and you can put them on. Because what I've got now is, I've now got a handle miniature that's just been painted, and kind of pull it off from the putty, put that to one side, and then I've got to pick up another model and kind of apply it. What it means is that actually with multiple heads I can switch between them, and it's much easier for batch painting. So that's why I think it's a good idea. Where are we at? Barry's saying the more I learn about Infinity, the more I like another game. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I'll have a review coming up in the very near future. I want to get these painted up first, and then I'll have a bit more that you can kind of, at least you can kind of feel a bit more informed about them. Martin Luff, just what's the word I'm looking for? Donated on the channel. Thank you very much, mate. I hugely appreciate it. I apologise. It's not a name I recognise. I don't know whether you're new to the channel or not, but yeah, thanks very much, mate. I do have a horrible head for remembering names. I always remember faces. I never remember names. So yeah, I apologise, mate, if we have chatted before. But thank you very much. Right, what was I just going to do? I was going to paint the black bits first, the grey bits. Where are we at? Martin saying, yeah, new to the channel. There it is, it's up on the screen now. Yeah, thanks very much, mate. That's hugely appreciated. Where are we at? Everyone's saying, yeah, good luck to Anna and our family as well, definitely. Thordelum says, room for more likes. How are we doing for likes? Let's have a look, see how many we've got on it tonight. So I don't know how many people we've got viewing. I cannot see it from here. It sometimes seems to go a bit. So we've got 62 people watching, and it says I can only see 10 likes on my screen. That can't be right. It can't only be 10 likes, surely. 44 likes. We've got there are 38 people, 58 people, 39 likes. Always space for more likes, definitely. So thank you very much, mate. Keeping everyone honest. Right, what was I going to do again there? Yeah, I was going to paint, wasn't I? Peter says, but do the handles come in red? No, mate, but I think the new ones only come in blue, but the current ones come in a number of different colours, I think. Christian saying, welcome to Martin. Yeah, thanks, Martin. Thanks, Martin. I don't know if you're aware, we've got a Facebook community as well, mate. I'm sure Christian will put a link up at some point. Be awesome to see you come across. Anna saying, cheers, folks, you're all stars. Anna, you know where we all are. If you just need somebody to moan and rant at when things are getting a bit bad, you know where we all are. So yeah, make sure you reach out, okay? Don't feel like you're stuck on your toe at times like this. Tim, yeah, red handles paint faster. Paint the handles red. You could do. I think, David, I don't know whether you were in the chat at the time, but there was on one of our Monday streams about GW stuff. There was a little bit of chat about the red painting handles, and a few people, or one particular person, Palmsy there, if he's around, was in a bit of a bad mood, I think, and he took it out on the red painting handles. So yeah, it's become a little bit of a joke now, I think, to be fair. It's not that people are anti-red painting handle or pro-red painting handle for that matter. Yeah, they were the source of much amusement one night. Yeah, so I'm coming in with the Basilicum grey now again, and I'm filling in what effectively is like kind of like the trousers. Underneath there's bits of like almost like armor panels on the front of the thighs. So and then just down the front panel of what would be like around the boot and stuff. We'll also do around the boot, and we'll do some of these bits in the orange as well. Fill it out. Am I on screen? Yes, I am on screen. We'll get these bits in. I'm doing it really simple, folks. So even like where I've got the gun and the holster here, I'm using that Basilicum grey over the top of that as well. The idea being that I just I'll come in with a silver dry brush and just highlight that up as well, just to do them bits. We'll do the weapon as well, because that's going to get a little bit of silver on it as well. So we'll come in and we'll do that weapon. But yeah, I mean, these ones I'm kind of all about just trying to get a nice finish on them, obviously. But yeah, just keep going. Basically, get them done as fast as I can. Get them done. Get them on the channel. Get some videos made. Tell you a lot what I think of Code 1 and what I think of Operation Kaldstrom as a set, and start just cranking out the content. I think I've done it. So I've got my list up here. So in the month of May, and we're coming towards the end now, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is my 14th video this month in 27 days. So I'm averaging a video every 2 days. That's not too bad going. And on top of that, I've also done 2 live streams on other people's channels as well. So anybody doubting that I'm cranking up the content, yeah, I definitely am. I'm definitely doing more than I was before I went full time, that's for sure. But the idea is, I mean, like I said before, I'm looking after my little boy as well at the minute because he's off nursery with the whole lockdown thing. He can go back soon. My wife and I aren't exactly agreeing on whether he should be going back or not at the minute. But once he does go back, then obviously that will free up a lot more time as well. So yeah. What was I going to do now? Let's do the orange bit. Christian's just sharing the Facebook community as well. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, anybody that's new to the channel. Actually, while I remember on, if there's anybody, let me see how we're doing. Because I'm really close, folks, to 8,000 subscribers at the moment. And I would love to hit that number while you're all here with me. So how we're doing, where's my subs number? There we are, let's have a look. We are 4 subscribers short of 8,000. I'm at 7,996. So if you're not subscribed and you're enjoying the chat tonight, or you want to check out the channel and see the other kind of stuff I've done, I cover pretty much any game that's out there. It's always about kind of what the community want to see and what kind of stuff I'm interested in. If you're not subscribed, please do. It would be awesome. It would be awesome to hit 8,000 subscribers while you're all with me. That would be very nice. So, and I think if you subscribe as well, and you've got if you haven't got your subscriber list hidden, because some people do hide their subscriber list, I think your name flashes up on the screen as well. So you'll even get a little bit of recognition for it. And that's what these streams are about, really. They're about, this is what I was talking about before. Some videos are designed to draw in new people and kind of like those, that's like the kind of the more produced content stuff, that, you know, the more edited, scripted type stuff. They're the ones that tend to go out and get a lot more views. But these ones are for the community. These ones are for everybody to hang out, get together, have a chat, nice and relaxed. Motivate you to pick your brushes up. So if you're having a bit of a bad day, or you haven't painted in a little while, and it's like, oh, there's a live stream on, I'm gonna get my brushes out, I'm gonna paint. That's what these are for. They're part of the whole package. So yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, folks. Dave Mackay says, content creation beast, keep it up. I tell you what, mate, I would love. My plan, once I'm kind of going sort of properly, is to do basically 3 videos a week. So I'll do the Monday night live streams, I'll do the Wednesday night hobby hangouts, and I'll do one proper kind of recorded, edited, sort of higher quality, if you like, for want of a better word, video every week as well. It might be a review, it might be a battle report, it might be a video where I kind of just sit and talk and give my thoughts on something. 2 little tankers just subscribed. Thank you very much, Scott. Subscribing from his YouTube channel there. Yeah, so the plan is really to do 3 videos a week. However, the plan is I'll be making more than that. So I'll be trying to to bank some up, if you like, to get ahead of myself, so that if anything ever happens, or I have a week off, like if I have some holidays or anything like that, I kind of build up a little bit of a backlog of stuff. That gives me a bit of breathing space as well. And that's something I've never ever been able to do, is to kind of build myself up a little sort of a backlog of videos, which give me a chance to take some time off, but and still keep the content going. But once I have that bit more time when the little one's back at nursery, it takes me roughly about a day from start to finish to make a good video. So that's kind of scripting it, that's recording it, that's editing it, it's kind of color grading it, and playing with improving the sound and creating the thumbnails. Creating a thumbnail for a video can take 2 hours, 3 hours at times, just to try and get them right. Because at the end of the day, if you don't make a good thumbnail, people don't click on the video and they never watch it. So I can make the best video in the world, but if the thumbnail looks awful and nobody clicks on it, I've wasted my time, basically. So yeah, sometimes it can take me 2 hours just to do the thumbnails and stuff. And it's all those little things that add up. Them's the bits that nobody ever really seems to see, really. And that's why I'm not kind of planning to do 10 videos a week or something like that. Like how Ash Barker manages to get through his stuff, I can only imagine he must he must batch film a lot of these battle reports. Like maybe he films like kind of like 5 or 6 in a day, and then does them. Let's have a look. Lucy, I think that's 8,000. Let's have a look, folks. 8,001. That's it. So yeah, there's the proof, because YouTube rounds it up now. There we go. 8,001 subscribers. I was here for 8K. That's it. Yeah. Let me just now that my camera focuses, I can do my happy dance now, and you can still see me. That's it. That's all. That's it. Nothing changes. I keep painting. I keep going. I didn't, like, money didn't fall from the ceiling. That's not what happens at 8,000 subscribers. But yeah, it's just it's nice. It's nice to have those little kind of like landmarks or kind of milestones, if you like. Anna's saying all unsub, so we have to do the happy dance next stream. I tell you what, Anna, I'm not pushing your channel anymore again. It doesn't mean anything, if you like. 10,000 is the next big one for me. I think somebody else has just said. The reason 10,000 is a big one for me is you'll see at the bottom of the screen. Is that, like, if you see on like Uncle Atom's channel on Tabletop Minions, you can see he has all his merch along the bottom, and you can't do that until you get 10,000 subscribers. So that's why it's important to me to get to 10,000. Things like Games Workshop won't entertain sending you any review copies of anything until you hit 10,000. So it's it's just one of those things. What was that? James On just donated $5 through Super Chat. Congrats on the 8K. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. Christian saying the new t-shirt design. I was here for 8K. I like that. Peter says, I'm not putting a $5 in your trunk for that dance though. It's funny actually. So my wife could come up today. Obviously my new camera got delivered today. So she kind of, we just chatted about it, and she was saying like, so how much was that? So I said that, and she said, well, it doesn't matter how much it is. It's kind of like, it's your money that you spend on what you want and stuff. And she was just kind of like looking around at all the stuff in it, and she went, well, at least if you get sick of making those videos, you can always start filming porn. Luke Pryor donated as well. Have a beer on me. Thank you very much, mate. That's hugely appreciated, honestly. Thank you. I should have had a beer now, shouldn't I? Never mind that. So, Mark says, Andy, do not do that dance again. Please don't. I can see you're a bit emotional too. I'm not built for dancing, mate. Let's be fair. Wait, let's get back to the painting. Enough of embarrassing myself. I kind of forget, folks. I'm sitting here with you. It's all right, like you watching me on the stream and stuff like that. There's me doing a stupid dance. That is there now for eternity. That's there for eternity now. Where are we at now? What was I up to? The dance was worth it. Yes, thank you very much. Honestly, I would buy that t-shirt. Please tell me someone screen grabbed that dance. Thank you very much. Scott says, celebratory whiskey, Andy. Go on. Oh, I tell you, let's have a little shot here. Where are we? Let's have a drop of the monkey shoulder for 10,000 there. I haven't got a glass, to be fair, so have I got anything? I haven't got a glass. We'll have to, here, just, there you go. Bottoms up, folks. Ooh, my pop vinyl's falling over. Bottoms up, folks. Thank you very much. Oh, I better put that out of reach now. It's a bit too handy. There you go. Now my tash is all wet. He's pulling out the good stuff. I've got to put it back now, haven't I? Right, let's get back to the painting. Drinking whiskey while I get a paint back. I haven't got a glass, mate. I would go and get a glass, but I'm all mic'd up. Look, so I'm all mic'd up here. So I've got my thing. I can't go very far. That's as far as I can go. There you go. Where are we at? Let's go back to the painting. Let's get back on topic. Boy, heathen. Barry Cloud says, I'm doing the happy dance. Fortunately, you can't see me. See, that's it. Mine's there forever now. Busey donated as well. Thank you very much for the happy dance, mate. Mark says, don't use the water mug. Oh, I tell you what I could have used. I could. I tell you, let me just clean this out. I'll have a little sit there. Kieran saying, "Cup behind you." My water mug's one of these GW pots, mate. So I definitely don't get that mixed up. But yeah, let's have a little a little chop in the cup. We might as well have a little celebrate. Go on, we'll have a little celebration. Seems. Cheers, folks. There we go. Use the helmet. Could you using the other helmet's the better one? Can always use this helmet, couldn't I? This one actually does fit on by inputting it on live on the stream, that's for sure. Oh, right. Cheers, folks. Bottom up. Ooh, nice. I know Kieran's in the stream's just deteriorated. I bet if I check, I bet I've dropped subscribers now. It'll have all been for nothing. Let me check. Even my phone doesn't recognise my face now. Things have got that bad. No, I haven't lost it. It was still there. VG's saying, put it on. I tell you what, mate. It's quite claustrophobic when you put it on. I will put it on another time, but not tonight. That's for sure. Right, what was I going to do? I was going to paint the white stuff now. What's that? Can you see the stream's just deteriorated? You might not want the T-shirt that says you were here for 8,000 now. VJ says, cheers. Thank you very much, folks. Peter says, you know, later when your little one grows up and he gets one of those, what does your dad do for work questions at school? You can go to YouTube and show them the dance. All I can hear now is the Tina Turner song "Private Dancer" in my head now. Dancer for money. Yeah, private dancer. Yes. Everyone's saying put it on. Yeah, not tonight, folks. Not tonight. I won't be able to see what I'm doing. Put it on then, dance. Oh my God. I tell you what. You lot are a bad influence. I was going to say it's a good job I haven't got to get up for work in the morning, but I've got to get up for work in the morning. I've got to do this, haven't I? So, anyway, you can leave your hat on. I certainly can't be doing the singing for a job. That's why I need your support from Patreon, folks, because I can't make it as a dancer and I can't make it as a singer. So. We've got to keep this going, haven't we? If this YouTube stuff doesn't work out, my options are severely limited. So yeah, we've got to make it work, folks. We've got to make it work. Anyway, 8,000 subscribers. Who'd have thought I'd get there, eh? I certainly didn't when I first started. I was absolutely blown away getting to 100 subscribers. I thought I'd won the lottery. I couldn't believe getting to 100 subscribers back then. And it never gets any kind of like, I never take it for granted. Like, even tonight, like, I've got no idea how many people in the chat, like 50 people or something like that. I've got no idea. Like, that's amazing. Like, could you imagine, like, sitting somewhere and having 50 people all sitting, like, just sitting, because, like, not because you're giving a presentation at work and they have to come. Can you imagine just sort of sitting on a street corner somewhere and saying, I'm just going to paint some miniatures. Does anybody want to come and anybody want to come and watch me paint some miniatures? And just sit on a street corner and 50 people turn up and sit and watch you doing that. Like, it's, that isn't lost on me. Like, I never take that kind of stuff for granted. I remember doing my first ever live streams, and I had a few thousand subscribers by then as well, and getting like 10, 15, 20 people and stuff like that. And I was kind of blown away by that as well. So yeah, it's never lost on me. Barry Kleiber donated through the super chat. Congrats on the 8K. Thank you, Barry Kleiber. You are a legend. Thank you very much, mate. It's been a good stream tonight. I kind of it deteriorated quite quickly there into something else, but no, it's been good fun, folks. I'm enjoying it. Right, so that's that stuff done. Luke has thoughts. It must happen. What's this? Where are we at? Peter saying he's singing now, just making it worse. Peter says, BlackJack karaoke channel, catchy for a new name. I tell you what, mate. If there's one way to lose all of my subscribers, it's me to be singing on any kind of semi-regular basis. Starkey says, singing, dancing, proper opportunity knocks. Scott's smashing through these vermin. I tell you what, mate, if it's keeping you motivated, that's all I'm bothered about, mate. Keeping you on the track there. I am here to entertain you, keep you painting. That's what it's all about. I wasn't expecting tonight to go like that. I forgot I was getting quite close, actually. That's why I never mentioned it. It was only when I was saying about anybody new to the channel. Peter says, no, mate, bloody fun. We're all having together, sing as much as you want. I'll tell you what, when I was younger, when I was a boy, I had a very, very good singing voice. And I used to sing in a church choir. And I used to, basically, I used to get paid for singing at weddings, for churches and stuff like that. So you'd basically, you'd book the choir boys to come and, not the rock band, the choir boys, you'd book me and a couple of mates to come and kind of sing at the wedding and stuff. And I think we used to get like a $5 or something like that for singing at a wedding. And I remember getting, I used to take my £5. I remember like, the first time I ever got paid to sing at a wedding, I took the £5, I went straight to town and I bought Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. So it kind of shows you where, like, I might have been a choir boy singing in the church, but yeah, I definitely wasn't a choir boy by nature, that was for sure. And yeah, it was because it was better than delivering papers, but I had a pretty good voice. But then, yeah, puberty hit. I got a bit older, and yeah, it was the voice disappeared very, very quickly. Via hymns, Starkey says. Scott says, got a lot of contrast for speed paint. Yeah, you just rack through them, mate, don't you? That's the way. Just smash through it. Actually, I'm going to put a bit more orange on these gloves. Peter says, I don't know if it's a drink, but my forge guard are looking not bad. It's not the drink, mate. You got some good paint. That's what it is. Luke Pryor says, waiting for the washes to dry on Castle now. Have to think about the mini exchange for Tony Howell. You've got a nice little partner there as well, mate. You two love your painting, so I love to see what you two will send each other. Thordlam says, you went as high with your notes as Axel. I did, but I tended to turn up on time, and I drank less Jack Daniels. I think I was probably about 10 or 11, I think, at the time. So yes, that was back in the day. Things have changed a bit since then. I don't sing quite so much now. My wife's a good singer, mind. She's a hell of a singer, and she's obviously a big fan of karaoke. Like when you're a good singer, I bet you're always a big fan of karaoke. But I've been to like a few karaoke's over the years. Like before me and my wife had the little one, and my wife always like I'm always like massively jealous that she can sing like that. And we went to Miami on holiday once, and there's a bar on the what's it called again? Ocean Drive. There's a bar on Ocean Drive, which I think it was used in like one of the MTV shows kind of thing, you know, like Spring Break type things. And they had a live karaoke, but they had like a band, like a proper like live band, and you could get up and sing karaoke with this live band. Yeah, and I remember my wife getting up and singing with his live band in Miami, and it's like, bloody hell, like, it was awesome. I was equally impressed and hugely jealous all at the same time. VJ Morth, thank you very much, my Australian buddy. How are you doing? He says, have a couple of brews on me, mate. Congratulations. That's massive, mate. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Christian says, have you missed a bit on the inside of the right foot? Maybe a tiny touch, mate. Maybe a tiny touch. It's coming to something when it's on a screen in front of you and you can see the bits I'm missing. It's kind of here, mate, isn't it? To be honest, by the time I pile snow on it, you won't be able to see it anyway. So I think also that inside bit, I think I'd done it, but it's because I haven't, it wasn't that light to start with. I think obviously the cloaks created a shade when I've done the Zenithal Prime, so I don't think it was really picking it up. But I'm kind of just looking to see where to do it. I think I should probably, the one there hasn't got it on, but I think it needs a bit of orange on the collar. So there's like something that looks like a kind of like some kind of metallic-y, but I'm going to paint it orange because I think it needs a bit more colour on the collar here, because it comes down to the front and I feel like there's something missing around this area here. Just so we'll pick that up. But yeah, it's coming on. Contrast paints there, just whizzing through it. How are we doing for time? It must be about 10:30 now, I think. It's not too shabby. I'll pick up my water, not my whiskey. Tim's just saying he's trying a red and brown mix instead of a wash, layering a red cloak. I'm really struggling at the minute with like highlighting cloaks and stuff like that. I made a right cock up with some of the Infinity stuff, and I had to just kind of accept that it wasn't great and basically try and recover it the best I could. But yeah, I think I need to kind of just get some models just to try some new what's the word I'm looking for? Like some new techniques and stuff, really. See if I can kind of up my game a little bit, because I'm not worried about like my painting, if you like. It's fine. There's just certain things I wish I could be a little bit better at, really, just for my own sanity. So I'll just put a little bit of, hear the horses there outside. I live basically next to so where my house is what used to be a farm, like many years ago, before they turned it into newer houses. And there's basically like stables and stuff out the back, and there's like a field and things at the back of here. So every now and again you'll hear horses going nuts. Where are we at? David saying we had a band that did karaoke at my local bar. They called it Bandyoke. It was always a great time. Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It was something, especially being in a foreign country and stuff, and like being on the beach in Miami. So obviously you can imagine like the weather was great, and it was an awesome holiday. We had such a good time. Obviously it was the days before Peter Nicholas donated £8 through Super Chat. Many congratulations. He's £1 per 1,000 for the celebration. Thank you very much, mate. Awesome. It was the days before we had a young child and stuff like that. So our holidays were very different. And we had a week in Las Vegas, and then we had a week in Miami afterwards for a holiday together, and it was unbelievable. We thought Vegas would be the kind of like the wild party place, and then we'd chill out in Miami. I couldn't have been more wrong. Miami was just as wild, but we had a great time. And actually, that was when I shaved my hair. That was when I shaved my hair for the first time. I knew I was going somewhere hot, and I thought, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to come back. I'm going to see all the photographs of me on holiday with like my horrible kind of like thinning hair, and I'm going to shave it off, and then I'm going to have this weird line where my tan is. So yeah, that was the time I shaved all my hair off before I went on holiday then, and I never ever grew it back since then. So yeah, memories. Where are we at? BJ saying to Luke, top community for a Discord and mini swaps go together like Vegemite and cheese. Vegemite and cheese. Vegemite and cheese. Thank you, Peter Nicholas. Just read that again there, mate. VJ saying, can't wait to get home from the in-laws tonight and start getting some paint on his mini swap models. Now it has all the colours he needs. Nice one. David says, chill in Miami. That's a good one. I was naive, mate. I was absolutely naive. I honestly thought it was going to be relatively quiet. Like, not quiet so much, but I thought it would be a bit more, like, relaxing. It certainly wasn't. It certainly wasn't. It wasn't relaxing in the slightest. No, it was an awesome holiday. I would love to go back one day. I think I've said many, just reading your comment there, Anna. Yeah, Ocean Drive. I didn't realise as well that Ocean Drive was a real place that I went to Miami. But Miami is the only place I've seen where all the policemen basically wore like t-shirts that were 2 sizes too small for them to show off their muscles, really like small, short, tight shorts, rode bikes like mountain bikes, and basically stopped to pose for photographs all the way along the front. Yeah, it was an interesting place, but yeah, I loved it. It was a hell of an experience. I don't think we can get Vegemite in the UK, mate. I don't even think you can. We can buy it. Maybe somebody will tell you we can. Christian says, I need to remember how to paint. Haven't picked up a brush in over a month. The paint and swap, mate, is an awesome time to kind of give you a nudge and to do that. Gives you a reason, doesn't it? Tony Howell says, oopsie, sorry, I missed a bit of my hands tied up as I was holding bits together, waiting for glue to set. The swap is a great little bit of fun. Nice one, mate. David Mackay saying, going to call it a night. Catch you later. Thanks, David. Thanks for coming in, mate. Appreciate it. And VJ says, you've got to get back on the horse. You have, mate, yeah. Anna saying, you can get it, but nowhere as common as Marmite. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. And Tim saying, yeah, you can buy it over here, but why would you? I mean, it kind of strikes me as very Australian. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a very Australian thing. It's with the Marmite. Vegemite on the cheese on toast is a banging. I would put like a bit of like Worcestershire sauce on like cheese on toast. I'd do that, but yeah, Vegemite is not something I've ever thought about. So this is where I struggle, folks. This is where I'm kind of like, I'll try and like thin it down a little bit and try and like blend it in a little bit, but it ends up just being really strong or like Tide Marty and stuff like that. I really struggle with kind of like wet blending and things. So I think what I might do is I might put some of this white on and then maybe go over it again with the contrast paint and see if the white kind of picks it up a little bit. But I'm just playing about with it now. We'll see how it goes. Tim's saying it's too much goodness for you. Our video saying it's too much goodness. I wonder what we have, which is kind of like equivalent then from a UK perspective. What kind of foods would like the rest of the world basically just go, you do what? You eat what? I can't even think what it is now. Yeah. We're not known for our cuisine in the UK, to be fair. Fish and chips is about as good as it gets, although to be fair, there's some awesome fish and chip shops near me. There's one of them that is literally on the beach in Tynemouth, where you can go and get a beer as well and sit on the beach and eat fish and chips and have a beer with it. It is just absolutely beautiful. And there's also a fish and chip shop not too far away from me. I think that was voted the best fish and chip shop in Britain as well. So, of course, where I live in the northeast, I live right on the coast anyway, so I'm not too far from the beach and from the sea, which always helps as well with nice fish, fresh stuff like that. There's like a fish quay not too far from me as well, and the fish quay's become kind of trendy now as well. So there's like loads of bars and restaurants down there, and there's like a Michelin star restaurant and stuff that's down there. It's absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, it's nice. Christian Clem has subscribed to you on YouTube. Let's see if it bangs up on my screen. It's just come through on my phone. Jellied eels, keep you saying, I have never had jellied eels, mate. I've never had jellied eels. The idea of them just fills me full of dread. I've got no idea what they taste like. I assume they taste like exactly how I'd imagine them to taste. What we're talking about here, Bovril, black pudding. Is baked beans, is that very much a British thing, baked beans, is it? I never realised that if it is. Black pudding, I love black pudding. We used to eat black pudding raw. When I worked at a factory, there used to be a pub over the road from it, and if we worked overtime on a Sunday, we'd always go to the pub for our lunch, and we'd have a pint at lunchtime. Back in the days where you could probably do that when you were at work, and the bar would always have raw black pudding in bowls on the bar, and we would just kind of like you'd eat it like nuts kind of thing, you know, like ham and peas pudding, steak and kidney pie. Savaloy dips. Oh, my mum used to work in a pork butcher's. I used to live on Savaloy dips. As you can tell from my body like this. VJ said, I love Bovril on sourdough with butter. Got introduced at the first time I was in the UK. On sourdough, interest, mate. Hello, how are you doing? Black pudding and tripe is also traditional in Portugal. I officially disqualify those as UK. Disqualify those as weird UK foods. Tripe, wow, I've never had tripe. I know it's a kind of like a, not a delicacy, but yeah, it's, yeah, I can't say I've ever had tripe. Jellied eel sounds rank. Yeah, definitely. Luke's is in France. I regularly have black pudding raw, like a pâté. Yeah, I remember it tasting absolutely lovely. But it kind of like, this was kind of like a real ale bar type thing. So you'd get some really nice kind of like sort of tasty real ales, and like this black pudding would just kind of just go perfectly with it. It's weird, isn't it? Like, to think back now. You don't, like, I wouldn't go into Newcastle now and it's all posy wine bars and stuff now. You wouldn't get raw black pudding in a bar in town now, to be fair. Tiberius says UK Heinz beans are different to American. They have pork gravy over there. They get like refried beans and stuff, don't they, in the States? I remember that. I knew you didn't get baked beans in the States, but I didn't think they were specifically sort of UK really. Eels are all right, actually, just annoying having to spit the spinal bone out. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. Deep fried Mars bar. Yeah, I've had one of those in Scotland before. I went on a stag do to Glasgow and I had a deep fried Mars bar. Stephen Peck says, Andy's starting to make me feel like you live near my sister and brother-in-law in North Shields. Yeah, I'm not too far away in North Shields. I used to live in North Shields before I moved to where I am now, and used to very often kind of walk down to Tynemouth and stuff. Me and my wife, if we on the rare occasion we get a babysitter, we sometimes go down to North Shields and have a few drinks down there. It's really kind of changed a lot over recent times, and it's quite a nice area to sit and go for a drink now, especially when the weather's nice. Obviously, these days it's not possible. Scott saying chicken parmo. Marco saying this conversation's making me miss Italy more than ever. Marco, how long have you been in the UK, mate? Because I mean, you've obviously got a bit of an Italian kind of like sort of accent to your voice, but it's not that strong, if you like. So it makes me think you've been here quite some time, or you just speak really good English. Beef dripping on toast. Alfie B says Northerners. There is a good mix of Northerners, Amy. That's the point where you can tell whether it's Northerners or not when you go jellied eels and go, oh my god, jellied eels are definitely a London thing. Definitely. I would expect nothing less from you, Christian. I would expect nothing less from you, buddy. Dripping on toast. Oh god, yeah. Dipping it into the tray after you made a Sunday roast. Yes, that was like a treat. My god, I grew up in a mining village. To be fair, lots of things were a treat when I was a kid. So yeah. Well, tonight's streams took a bit of a weird turn, folks. I've been drinking whiskey from the bottle, doing a happy dance, and we're talking about beef dripping on toast now, mate. So I'll tell you what. You don't get this on Mini War Gaming, do you? But it's nice to kind of just hang out with a load of like sort of like-minded folks and just chat crap now and again. Thank you very much, folks. I appreciate you all being here. You've certainly made my night a good night. Right, well, this one's cracking on all right as well. I might actually get two done the stream tonight. Marco says 10 years next month. I thought you'd 10 years. I assumed that you'd been here a lot longer, Marco, to be fair, because your English is excellent. Like, it's like the accent as well. I mean, not just the fact that you speak the language. Obviously, it's because I work with a lot of, or I did work with a lot of people from different kind of parts of the world and stuff who spoke really, really good English, but their what's what I'm looking for? Their accents were really kind of, you could really tell that they were kind of like that. It wasn't their native language, if you like. But no, it's 10 years. So I assume you come here for work, did you, Marco? Is that what brought you over here? And how's the family back in Italy at the moment as well, mate? Is things starting to kind of get a bit calmer over there for them? Peter says, I remember my mum making cow's udder, probably the strangest thing I ever ate. Peter Coom and cow's udder. Oh my God. I can't believe you ate it, mate, if I'm honest. If my mum had made me cow's udder, I'm not sure I'd have been able to stomach it. I used to eat quite a lot of Chinese food when I was younger. Because my dad's sister was married to a guy from a Chinese guy from China, to be fair, and they had a Cantonese restaurant, and obviously we used to go and get food from them quite often. So I grew up with quite a lot of kind of Oriental food, and because of, obviously we didn't really like I say, I was kind of, my dad was a coal miner. My mum didn't work for a lot of years, and then later she worked like part-time in a pork butcher's. We didn't have a lot of money really, to be fair. So like we didn't really have like takeaways or like McDonald's or Pizza Hut or anything like that. Like we didn't. So it wasn't until I got much older. Like if I went to Pizza Hut like as a birthday treat kind of thing. It wasn't just something like you did like every Friday like some people do now. It's just so I kind of like I grew up like with a different kind of relationship with food, I think. Luke says, oh, it's just bought Chinese food. I love sesame chicken from my local place. You make me hungry now, mate. VJ said, eating actual cow's udder. Was that just the name of the dish? Like toad in the hole isn't actually toads. I think it is cow's udder. Yeah, quite tasty, very soft. My mum made strange stuff. Liver stew with kidney. Oh, when you say you get used to it, I guess it's a case of you either eat it or you starve. That's how you get used to that kind of stuff, don't you? It's not something you choose, that's for sure. Right, we'll put a little bit of white, I think, into these areas here, to kind of highlight them up. And I think what I might do is I might come back and put the blue into those once that dries. The blue that I used on the pipework from the other gun. Peter says it isn't real toads. I must have a word with my mother. I'll tell you what else as well, Peter. It doesn't go in the hole. Yeah, you might need to have a word, mate. How we're doing here? I feel like I'm in another one of those positions now where you just you start playing with a model. You're not really painting anything now. You're just titivating it with fear of going too far. VJ laughing at that. I couldn't resist, VJ. I couldn't resist. Peter says, when they give it to you, you're very young and they don't tell you what it is. You don't judge it by what it is and how it tastes. There is that, mate, yeah. There is that, definitely. I'm trying to think if I've ever eaten any weird stuff. I don't think I have, really. I've tried stuff like kind of like haggis and things like that that might not be weird to us, but I'm sure to some folks haggis is a bit weird. But no, there's not a lot of foods I don't like, to be fair. So I'm pretty open to trying new things, but I must admit, neither jellied eels or cow's udder make me wanna dash out and buy a load of food. That's for sure. I did stop sweetbreads. PPA pushing paint around. That's exactly what I've got to, mate. To be fair, I think I'm kind of just. I think it's because I'm having a good time. I'm just kind of like chilling, and it's almost like painting's not the most important thing I'm doing anymore. It's having the conversation, I think. So I'm just kind of sitting here, just in a world of my own, I think. I need to hit a milestone every week if this is what happens. Right, where are we at? Right, we'll get that dry a little bit. Let's put the stuff on the bottom. Mark was saying, came over for work, internal transfer. His parents and sister are well and safe. Schools are closed until September. Thanks for the compliment. Your English is not too bad either, yeah. I tell you what, mate, you wouldn't think it's my first language either, would you? Yes, the Black Templar. VJ is saying, what are the triangles on the base of that Mini all about? So the triangles, mate, basically that is paint that's pointing to the front. So in Infinity, you have a front arc and a rear arc, and you can't, like if something moves behind you, you can't react to it. So you have to kind of mark your base to say where your front and rear arc is. So in Code 1, I haven't seen it in any other Infinity miniatures. I don't know how new they are, or whether they're just new for Code 1. But they come with these bases, basically with the front markings on. So that's what they are, mate. They're just basically a front arc. And obviously the models don't come stuck to the base, so you can kind of put them on however you want. But essentially what I've kind of tried to do is, so you might be able to see here, there's like a little dimple on here, which is like the exact front of the model. I've tried to kind of just roughly have the model facing towards that, really. So, and you don't have to paint them like kind of thing, like you don't have to make them stand out. But it's just, it adds a little bit of colour to the base, to be fair, just something a little bit different. Because essentially the bases I'm doing are going to be snow bases, really. But I'm not going to do the snow bases tonight. I'm going to just basically do them all at the same time, because I like to try and like not match them up, but do them all at the same time. So I'm kind of putting even amounts of snow on the bases, really. Otherwise, it looks a bit weird if some bases have more than others. And it kind of settles down, the Valhalla Blizzard. It kind of settles down as you after it dries. So if you go back and do it like later, it's sometimes hard to judge exactly how much you put on in the first place. VJ says, not bad English for a northerner. Yes. Scott saying he got them in the Red Veil set. I didn't realise you got them in there, mate. I definitely didn't get them in the Operation Ice Storm box. They must have been a relatively new thing, mate. Am I happy with this or not? Yeah, we're going to put a dry brush of a bit of silver on now. Peter says, 5-minute nicotine break, dance away, Andy. Are you trying to suggest, Peter, that you only dance? I should only dance when you're not looking? Peter says, only a native Brit can mangle the language this much. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's funny though, because I've actually had like people comment on some of my videos saying that my accent, from like being from like obviously in the north, is easier to understand for like a foreigner, whether that's like even somebody from the US, if you like. It's easier to understand than like a kind of like a southern, like a more what we would class in the UK as like a posh accent, like a kind of like a very quite well-to-do, you know, a bit like the royal family kind of thing. Like our accents in the northeast are easier to understand. And in the UK, they always used to say they were kind of like the northeast accent's a friendly accent, if you like. That's why they built a load of call centres up here. They built them here and they built them in Liverpool because they kind of think that our accents are friendly and stuff like that. But we're no friendlier. We just sound friendly. But yeah, it's accents are a funny thing for a country of our size. It's amazing how many like different accents there are within like really short spaces, kind of thing. VJ still says he's waiting for his Vehement starter to turn up. Yeah, hopefully not too much longer, mate. Sodlum says, them London, isn't it? Peter says, I'm suggesting you dance when I'm not holding a brush. It messes up my painting. VJ says, I think they were humouring you. I think it's because now, mate, I think I've relaxed now. This is just me. This is how I talk. Well, I think when I first started out, maybe I was trying to be a bit more pronounced. Not that I was ever posh. Peter says I can barely understand people in the next village. Christian says I do not say in it. That's a bit like me. I say like a lot. That's a very northeast thing. You see, and I've noticed when I'm editing my videos, or if I listen back to like a live stream type thing just to check quality and things, I quite often hear myself saying like, and it's like I think I use it as one of those. I use like some people use and I now I know I do it. It's really hard to not do it. Sorry, it's really hard to not notice it. Even when I'm in the middle of talking, I hear myself say it and I think, oh, you said it again. It's quite distracting to kind of like catch yourself saying the same word all the time. But if you're going to put yourself up there on the internet for everybody to see, You just got to suck it up and get on with it. VJ says, then again, my best mate's from Bexley Heath, so I got used to the southern UK accent first. That's what it is, mate. That's what it is. You're an adopted Cockney now. I call everybody kind of south of Middlesbrough a Cockney, to be fair, so I don't know, technically I don't know where Cockneys are technically from. But yeah, anyone that's kind of south classed as a Cockney when you live in the north. Tim says Cockneys drive me nuts and they think the Midlands accent is bad. Peaky Blinders around here. And Scott says, they do that though, don't they though? And Jonathan says, I'm like that with so, say it all the time. I got into a bit of a habit, mate, of starting like sentences with so, especially when I was talking online, so I go, so, and it's like, I managed to kind of, I think, catch myself on that one a bit. And I think I notice it more when I'm editing videos back and things. But yeah, like is the one that I feel like I say too often. And it's definitely one of those sort of like it's a pause. I think what it is, I'm conscious now that when I kind of do videos and when I'm live streaming and stuff, a really short pause of silence sounds like forever. It feels like it's kind of like it feels like it goes on too long. So I think when I'm trying to compare something, or when I'm trying to buy myself thinking time, I end up talking while I'm doing that. And I think like is that word that I've somehow adopted. So it comes in. Now I've said it, you'll notice it all the time. Marcus says, agree, your accent is very simple. Liverpool, on the other hand, on the other end, no clues. Cockneys, what's this? Luke says, when people end almost every sentence with, know what I mean, it's infuriating. I'm going to say that now, mate. Know what I mean? I tell you who does say that quite a lot is, Mel, the terrain tutor, says, know what I mean, and what do you call it? He's got a lot of those little words that he kind of like fills gaps with. VJ says that like, the triangles in orange balances the mini nicely. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, mate. It just kind of like, it just gives it something, just to kind of, give it a little bit of focal point. Paul saying Cockney is defined as someone really weird, like born within earshot of the... Yeah, that is right, mate, isn't it? Yeah, the within the sound of bow bells. I've got, I don't know how loud are the bells? Is that like 500-mile distance or something? I've got no idea. Christian saying it hurts my strawberry tart. Paul says Northeast only sounds friendly because you can't understand it. That's what it is. We kind of say it with a smile, but yeah, we don't really mean it. Stephen says working class East Londoner, Doff's cap, or governor. Or governor. Christian says his uncle and cousins are from Birkenhead. Birkenhead is a funny Liverpool accent because it's like Birkenhead, isn't it? Like, I can't even say it. Yeah. Luke's in bloody right, he does. Paul saying Britain has so many accents, they're hard to understand. Scouse and to a lesser degree, Monk, Geordie, Glaswegian. It's amazing, even in the northeast here. So where I'm from, where I was born in Sunderland, like my accent is very different to my dad's accent. My dad was kind of born in a part of Sunderland that was what you would class as like real heartland, kind of Mackham, kind of kind of sort of real core hardcore Sunderland, if you like. And for all I was born in Sunderland, I wasn't born in that part of Sunderland. And over time I moved, I worked and lived in South Shields, which is kind of like a softer accent. I live in Newcastle now, which is again is a slightly different accent. Again, is more Geordie. If you go to the kind of like the east end of Newcastle, or the west end of Newcastle rather, it's really you can't understand some like Geordie accents from that part of the northeast. And we're talking about like an area that's probably a 30-mile area, and there's probably 3 or 4 accents. And then you start to come down to like Durham and Chesley Street, you go a bit further north into like Cramlington and Northumberland, down to Middlesbrough, like that maybe 50-mile radius. There are so many variations on a northeast accent, it's unbelievable. Yeah, Starty's man came to Mel says yeah a lot too. Again, I think it's one of those things that if you're if you're doing something where you're conscious of not leaving dead air, and potentially maybe not that confident either, because nobody is when they first start out. I think you develop these phrases, these kind of like dead air fillers, and I think that's exactly what it is. And Mel definitely has the whatchamacallit is he's definitely like filler word, isn't it? That's his whatchamacallit. Nice guy though, nice guy. Tiberius says it's just used swear words in Scotland, separates the men from the boys. Even the kids say those words quite often. Swear like Aussies, Scots. I thought the Geordies were bad, but yeah, the Scots like a swear word, that's for sure. Mush is a Southampton word. If we're getting into specific words and stuff, honestly, like some of the like northeast words, like I'm trying to think of any specific ones now. Like Mara was a word that my dad used to always say when I was a kid. Like Mara is a friend. Like I don't know if it was like a pit thing. Like he always used to talk about like going for a beer with his Maras, and it was like wow, you know, it was weird. All these little things. And spelk, I didn't realise until not that long ago actually. So we call a splinter, like if you get like a piece of wood in your finger, it's a splinter. We would call it a spelk. And I thought everybody called it a spelk. And it wasn't until I started like working in Manchester and stuff, and people were like, a what? You got a what in your finger? Peter says you have that everywhere. My dialect's pretty hard for some people I work with as well. Luke says I live in a place surrounded by wet-footed Fenland farmers and can turn one sentence into one long slurred and entirely unintelligible word. Scott's his Hartlepool. Yeah. Tim says you see a space ghetto really fast. It sounds like you're saying Spice Girl in Glaswegian. Space ghetto. What was the one I always used to know? It was if you say beer can, it always makes it sound like you're saying bacon with a Jamaican accent. Beer can. Paul says anyone not from the UK wants to see just how diverse our accents are. This video gives you a very high level overview, but there's variations within variations. Oh, 100% mate, yeah. Marcus says my drinking game during Andy's live stream is based on where we at when looking at the chat. That and it's jumped off the top of my screen. It just disappears. It's just like the chat's coming in, and I'll kind of look down and look up, and it's like that wasn't what I was looking at. Where are we at? Luke saying people on live Q&A were looking for another question. So often say so. Let's see. Where else? Tiberius is in there about 5 miles between lyrical Catherine Cooks and ITV production to fall on who man you're wearing cool. You are not wrong, mate. You are not wrong. Who man? I used to work with somebody who was the most stereotypical Geordie woman you have ever heard, and like even I had to like, what? What was that? You're going to have to slow down. I speak quite fast, but she was just a million miles an hour. Busey said, I feel sorry for the Spanish here, putting up with all these funny accents. They cope well though, but the Spanish talk with a slight American accent. I think a lot of people who speak English as a second language obviously learn like my little boy is watching so many kind of kid YouTube stuff while he was off. He started to develop what was the one he was saying today? So he's got these little toy things like the DC, I think they're called DC Friends or something like that, and they're like Batman and Superman and Joker and stuff. And he says, Dad, I want what was it? I want Aquaman. And I went, Aquaman? Do you mean Aquaman? And he went, no, it's Aquaman. And I said, no, the person on TV just pronounces it Aqua. It's Aquaman. And he's no, it's Aquaman I want. Aquaman. Yeah. Paul saying a small path that runs between two houses is called a ginnel around these parts. Over the hills, it's in hell, it's called a snicket. My God. Tony says, me and my dad got on a bus in Somerset and the driver said, all right, my lover. I thought my dad was going to punch him. It's like I've got a mate in Derby as well, and it's duck, isn't it? Like hey up duck, hey up me duck. Is that Derby or is it a Yorkshire thing? I can't remember now, but it's like, hey up me duck. A lot of foreigners speaking English, you often have a slight American accent because watching it on TV, yeah. And VJ saying my little bloke was calling his mum mummy for a while. I sorted that out pretty quick. Yeah, we say mum here, like M-A-M, and mum and my mum and dad, and me nana and granda, like for my grandparents. It's weird, isn't it? Weird that we have all these different stuff. See, I never have this conversation in my pub because everybody talks like I do. So it's good to hang out and have these chats. Ty basically, it's not a Guinness, it's a Venel. Chocolate. It was something. It was. I tell you what, you just reminded me, VJ. So the little lad was saying, he went, oh, "Can I have some candy?" And I went, "Candy?" I went, "What do you mean candy? Do you mean sweets?" And he went, "No, I want candy." I said, "So where do we keep the candy?" He went, "It's in the sweet drawer." Scott's saying, "Kitchen's a scullery." Yeah, it's the scullery, man. Honestly, some of these words, it's taking me back to being a kid as well. I'm trying to think some of the ones that they're. Hinny is a one that I kind of caught a few people when I went to Manchester. Like hinny is a northeast kind of word that just kind of means. It's like a term of endearment. Like it's like "you all right, hinny" kind of thing. It's just like it's like pet. Like "you all right, pet." It's that kind of word. And when I said it to somebody in Manchester when I was working there, she like looked at me as if to say, Are you being offensive? Have you said something I shouldn't like say no. Nanny and poo poo. my little I would love to call his granddad poo poo. Paul said, I know a few people say duck is from Derby, but we use it in Lancashire as well. Tony saying in Leeds, everyone is love regardless of gender. Yep, love. Honestly, like I could talk about this kind of stuff all day. It's got nothing at all to do with the channel. Anybody that's not normally in here tonight, this has been a very, very different chat tonight, but I must admit I'm enjoying it. So I hope some of you are too. We also paint minis as well sometimes here. We sometimes talk about hobby stuff, but tonight, Matthew, we're chatting about everything but, which is awesome. And I think sometimes we need that. Like sometimes on a Monday night we have these kind of random rambly ones, don't we? But we haven't had them for a while, and I think I intentionally haven't had them because the Wednesday ones are a bit more like that. So, but nah, it's awesome. I love having these chats. Thank you, folks. Thank you for having being part of an awesome community. VJ saying, yeah, Declan tried the candy thing with us for a bit. It was like, no. Peter said, I wonder how many prospective subs ran away tonight. I tell you what, mate, I wonder how many I have lost while we've been chatting. Let's have a look and see if I've lost any while we've been chatting. No, I gained one. Christian says, young as 10, started using Max American for everything, drove me nuts. It's too much YouTube, mate, isn't it? That's what it is. VJ says, BlackJack Legacy, we also occasionally talk about the hobby. That's a t-shirt. If anyone struggles with Andy's accent, I recommend the book Learn Yourself Geordie. Oh, 100%. I might give that book away sometime, I think. Learn Yourself Geordie. Scott says, I think the Monday stream was more formal. Like it never used to be, mate. It was a bit more random and stuff like that. But I noticed more people came in and more people commented when there was a subject, because otherwise, like you can, if we did this every Monday night, people would soon get a bit tired of it. And that's why I think the Wednesday ones, when people are sitting painting and stuff, and I think these ones are basically just a little bit more relaxed, a bit more fun. Marco says, my daughter's teacher told me she needs practicing this properly rather than sounding this. I told her you better help her since I can't hear the difference. Yeah, well, what else can you do, mate? That's your accent. She's learned that from you, mate. Brennex says, Infinity Code 1 might get me playing it. Bought some Ariadne and Pan-Ocean and stuff ages ago, but N3 rules were a tough read and no one around here plays it. I tell you what, mate, I'm obviously got my review stuff coming up, so I'm not going to sort of give away too much. But what I'm finding, I've always been put off as well, to be fair as well, I've always been put off by the rule books. What I'm finding is the rules themselves are actually not too bad. They're just really, really badly written. And what I mean by badly written is, like, they're not hard to understand. I'm just finding they basically the layout of them is in a bit of a strange order. So when like it'll start talking about one thing before it's explained what something else is that's almost intrinsic to that particular action or something. And certainly from the Code 1 stuff, I feel like it, in an effort to try to make them simpler and clarify stuff easily, they've repeated themselves again and again and again, and the book feels like it's 3 times longer than it should be. Like, it tells you about basically like rolling to hit and like defending like an attack roll. It must tell you 6 times in the book about how to do it. So I actually think potentially that the rules are not too bad, but it really, like, I had to print them out. I couldn't read them on the screen, like on a screen, on an iPad or whatever, on a laptop. I couldn't read them. They weren't absorbing. I needed to print them off and kind of flick backwards and forwards and read them and reference them and put little notes in. And I actually think they're not too bad. I don't think they're too difficult. I just think they're really kind of almost poorly written. Well, folks, I think we've got another one kind of done. I'm not pushing the boat out on these. I'm not going too far with them. I think that one will probably do. I might just want to highlight up the jacket, the backpack a little bit more. I think we'll just brighten that one up a touch more. I think, and then I think we'll call that one done. And what time we have? I think we're probably about 11 o'clock now. I'm probably not going to start another one now. It's getting on a bit. I think I'll just, after this, I think I'll just clean my brushes up. And we'll wrap up the stream, I think. But it's been an awesome one, folks. I've really enjoyed it. And it's nice that you were all here to celebrate 8,000 subs with me as well. I might even treat myself to a bit of cake tomorrow. I would treat myself now, but I don't have any cake in the house. So, yes. So what I've painted tonight, folks, for those that are just kind of tuning in, I've painted these two tonight. I think what I'll do is at some point I'll put the snow on the bases and stuff when they're all done. But I'll probably crack. I've got 1, 2, 3, another 4 to do. I'll probably actually I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to highlight up a little bit more white on the one I did this afternoon as a bit of a test with the contrast paints. I'll highlight that white up a little bit more, I think, while we're sitting chatting. John Estel says, most confused I've ever been was returning a drill after we moved up from the south. The guy said, have you got a wafty? No idea. And he pointed to the contactless machine. A wafty. I tell you what, mate. There are some weird, even just down to things like, there are so many names that people call like remote controls for the TV. Like, I used to go out with a girl when I was a kid. Like, I used to have this girlfriend, and her family called it like, they called it the gizmo, and I was like, what are you on about? Somebody else calls it the flicker. Like, there's so many names for a TV remote. Marco says, the chap from Corvus Belly cracks me up with his very strong Spanish accent. You might want to paint something yellow instead of yellow. Carlos speaks the language really well. He's got a really good, especially when you think it's like technical English, is when you start about rules and things. But yeah, it's a really strong Spanish accent comes through. William says, Andy's accent is easy. There's some UK accents that are extremely staccato with no vowels. That mystifies me. I think that's maybe potentially what it is, mate. There's a few people have kind of said that the accent's a bit more musical, if you like. There's a bit more up and down to it, and I wonder if that's what it is. Robert says, I work with a lot of guys from the northeast, and wow, some of them, Jesus, Andy is sound. Some would say I have quite a refined northeast accent. That's probably what it is. But yeah, I mean, Sunderland, where I'm from, has some very. I remember almost getting into a fight in a bar in Sunderland city centre many, many years ago now, when I was probably kind of like in my 20s, because they thought I wasn't from the local area, if you like, even though I was born in quite a rough part of town, to be fair. They assumed that because I didn't speak like them, I wasn't from the area, or I wasn't from that part of Sunderland, if you like. And it was back in the days when people from Sunderland didn't drink in Newcastle, and people from Newcastle didn't drink in Sunderland, because there was always this kind of weird, not even a rivalry. It was just people people would fight because of where they lived. It was stupid, really. But yeah, that's how it was. Steve says, evening all, just finished a 6mm Kings of War game. What have I missed? I tell you what, Steve, you have missed an awesome chat tonight. Brennick says, might get them painted then. Mate owns a print shop, so we'll claim mate's rates off him. Honestly, mate, I just print them off on my kind of like my normal inkjet printer and stuff. But honestly, I just, once I actually sat and read through the rules, it started to sink in a bit. And that was when I realised just how often it was repeating itself. And I think up until that point, it was like reading like a legal document. Because to be fair to Corvus Belli, what they're trying to do is make it really, really clear what the intention is with the rules. They're trying to make it streamlined, but they're also trying to make it so that there's no kind of misunderstanding about what they're trying to say. And in doing that, they make like passages of text really, really long, rather than trying to be like really succinct and to the point. And what that does is it becomes a difficult read. But in this edition, they've put loads more like images and like examples in, which then what you can do is you can read their example and read the rule and see how the two kind of line up together. But I think it's one of those things where once you get over that initial hurdle, I don't think the rules are too bad. Peter says both minis look great. I like a simple, effective colour scheme. Yeah, I'm not going for anything too technical, I think, with these ones, mate. Tiberius says, that's what I like about Alessio Caratori. Being English as a second language, his words are very well chosen and he cuts to the point, so he's easy to understand. Yeah, I think some people just, there's a real skill in writing rules. You can write a game, but there's a real skill in being able to write rules that are really short, but really well explained what they mean, kind of thing. VJ says, Steve misses happy dancers, jelly deals and accents. Kieran says, no cake, more whiskey. Lee says, top work, Andy, great stream, thank you very much. Steve saying, well done on the subs, mate, thank you very much, buddy. Scott says, the doofer. That's it, the tele remote, the doofer. Seems like VJ says, well, I sound like a mix between a farmer and a pirate, so I got to the percent of anyone. And VJ says, that's what I've been doing wrong, painting imperial fists with jello. Peter says the TV is the Frank Zappa. Let's go to the main screen while I clean my brushes out, folks, and we'll start to wind down for the night. So, what's everybody up to tomorrow then? Who's at work? Who's having a bit of chill? Who's getting a bit more hobby done tomorrow? We'll see what tomorrow brings. But it's been weird me starting this night full time now at a time when everybody's kind of off work and on lockdown and not working anywhere. Because in my head, I don't think it's really kind of sunk in, because I'd have been at home anyway with my job kind of thing. And because I think, as I mentioned before, because I worked in product development, like all the projects have been stopped basically because my guys can't get into the factories to kind of do any trial work. So it's kind of, I think until people start, like until my little one goes back to nursery and until my wife starts actually like working not in the house, I don't think it'll really necessarily properly sink in for me, so it's a bit weird. So yeah, every day is kind of blending into one at the minute because I'm working weekends as well. Like I'm still, like, weekends are an opportunity where my wife will look after the little one for like long periods of time, so that I can get like big chunks of work done. So you tend to find a lot of like my filming and stuff gets done on a weekend, and then I'll kind of, when I can, I'll edit things up during the week to get ready for like a Friday or a Saturday's video. So yeah, every day is kind of blending into one at the minute. I only remember the days because Monday's a live stream and Wednesday's a live stream. Where are we at? Scott says he's back painting the factory floor. Painting the floor, mate? Is that what they've got you doing at the minute? Holy crap. Peter says late shift tomorrow with the factory again. Paul says he's working. He's a key worker until I go to a supermarket, at which point I have to get in the queue. To be honest, mate, the term key worker has been a bit loose. I was classed as a key worker because I worked for a company that made toilet rolls. even though the job I did was not classed as key in any way, shape or form. Robert says he's getting through the guardsmen, but when you have 40 of them, it's a bit of a grind, I bet, mate. Tim says more gardening, gets him out of the house though. An online virtual pub with his mates tomorrow night. That sounds pretty cool, mate. I've got Friday night, me and my wife are doing like a kind of like a family quiz. So me and my wife, her sister and her husband, and our other sister and her husband, and our mum and dad, like 4 couples, we each do like 20 questions each, and we have a bit of a quiz. We do that every couple of weeks. That's pretty good fun. And then on Sunday, me and Jason are doing a kind of like, we're just going to stick the camera on, like either on Skype or on what's it called, like Messenger, FaceTime, whatever it is, and just sit and do a bit of painting. We haven't done that yet, really. So yeah, I think we're on Sunday we're just gonna sit and have a bit of a painting chat, really. So, but I like the idea of an online pub, mate. I like that. Brennex is hoping to finish Pathliners at Dead Zone, basing tonight during the stream. Nice one, mate. Vijay says he's morning, so he's chilling for the rest of the day at the in-laws, and then heading home after dinner, get some paint on the minis. Nice one, mate. And tomorrow back to the grind. Steve says he's on holiday at the moment, so gardening to keep the missus happy. Maybe another game of Disney villains. How are you enjoying villains, mate? I saw your pictures, mate. You obviously enjoyed it. Want to play it again then? Tony says taking the dog to the vet to be spayed and off to the doctor's probably best not to get the two mixed up. What were you doing that, mate? And Peter not understanding about toading the hole. Kieran's doing an interview with a guest for the podcast tomorrow. Quite a celebrated fantasy artist and can't think up many questions. Good job, it's only a short chat. To be honest, mate, as soon as you start, it'll flow. I'm always a bit worried about things like that. Christian's finishing off setting up the new PC. He needs to transfer his website bookmarks and other lesser bits. I just reset this PC that I'm using now. I basically, because I've bought a laptop basically so that I don't, when I'm editing stuff, I can take my laptop downstairs and I can sit while my little one's playing and stuff, and I can do a few bits of work. I bought a new laptop so I could do that. Otherwise, I end up locking myself away in here to do all my editing and all my kind of uploading and bits and pieces. So because I had that as a fallback, I basically wiped the hard drive on this at the weekend and reinstalled all the software. It was super easy. I couldn't believe it. Basically, everything was kind of there when I reset it all as well. And where are we at? Scott saying, yeah, everyone panicked and bought the loo roll, so now you're not selling any, mate. Peter says tomorrow I'll be trying to rescue his mess from his forge card. Vijay says he's been doing virtual pub with a few mates. Nice, mate. I like the idea. Paul saying he works in the defence sector and the government told us we were key workers. Maybe they were expecting something like that we weren't, mate. Robert says he's a key worker far from either at home or on guard duty. And Luke says going for another walk in the woods with the family, and then who knows. Nice one. Well, folks, tonight has been awesome. Thank you very much, every single one of you, for coming in and sharing that. How are we doing for numbers? How many we got in? We still got, I can't even see what the number is. 68 likes. If you haven't liked the video, please like the video before you leave. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button before you leave too. And if you are interested in the Patreon, please do check that out as well. So, thanks very much, folks, and I will see you. I'll see you in the Patreon chat on Discord. I'll see you in the Facebook group over the rest of the week, and I will definitely see you next Monday for Monday Night Livestream. Thanks, folks. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.